It's your time. No! Can you do this? He gets another. One more. The DBS under. Where are your shots?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the PUBG Mobile Pro League North America Fall Split Phase 3, Day 3. And I'm excited. I'm really excited to see which teams are going to be stepping up here on the final 3 days and which teams are going to be the top 16 going to the finals. But before we even get started, a special shout out to Monster Energy, our official energy drink partner. I think I drank so much that I'm a little bit jittery right now, but I wouldn't be able to do this by myself. Let me bring in my analyst, Cameron Davis. Cam, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. I am doing spectacular. I'm doing absolutely amazing. It has been N-Hyper week. I mean, last week was N-Hyper week. This is N-Hyper week part 2, and I know we had a day off. I'm just expecting all of that to go forward because, as we're going to touch on in a little bit, they continue to get better. They continue to soak up. I mean, there are a limited number of points that you have in a single round of PUBG Mobile, and they are just soaking up more and more and more every single week.
I'm hoping the dominance continues on, but actually, before we even start breaking down our stuff that we want to talk about, we have a special segment that we like to call Hot Juice, Hot Take.
Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome to the Hot Juice, Hot Take. And before I go ahead and give that hot take, we got to start at the beginning, okay? Right before this tournament started, the producers asked us a simple question, right? Which teams do you think are going to finish top 3 at the end of this tournament? And I, out of everybody else, decided to not even put N-Hyper in my top 3. And the reason why is because they have frustrated me so many times in the past with their inability to clutch it up right at the end. That Alpha 7, America's Championship play against them still haunts my dreams to this day. I wanted to see more from them. So before I could even start believing on him, I had to go ahead and talk to the man, Koi himself, and I had to ask him a question, and this is what it was.
Okay, you know what? This is a personal question from me, okay? Because one thing that pisses me off the most, right, is watching you guys do so well in the early part of the tournament, and then towards the end, see that slight decline. Is there anything you guys have done to really practice that, you know, end of tournament type of play?
觉得主要原因还是因为 我们几个是比赛经验不足的，但经过了这1-2年的比赛下来，我们已经能应对这种特殊情况。
Now, so you heard from the man himself, okay? He said that, you know what? I've said before that you can't teach clutch. But he said after so many years playing together, starting to build that clutch up. You know, those hands aren't shaking so much. We're getting used to that feeling. We're getting it going here. And then come here into the PMPL NA, you know, the fall split right now, we actually start seeing them do things we've never seen before. And one game in particular, as we bring up the stats here, blew my mind. And it's this one right here. Okay, 2,095 damage, 12 eliminations. That's great, right? We've seen that before, okay? But have we ever seen a game like that with the chicken dinner with only 64 damage received? I can't remember a time. It is one of the most impressive matches I have ever seen in the history of PUBG Mobile. In my opinion, this is like getting a 30 elimination chicken dinner. They absolutely ran through the matches. We take a look here at the highlights. You just saw them execute this game with dominance. They got the high ground. They secured position. I remember Zute even saying, like, dude, these guys even get touched? Just to give you guys an example, 64 damage, that's one player going down to around 30% HP, or maybe even two players barely getting shot up to not even being able to use a first aid. They had to actually just use energy drinks to get back up. That is how crazy of a performance this was. So I see that. I start seeing them push out of their comfort zone, being more aggressive, leaving spots that were so perfect, and then going out and getting that chicken dinner for themselves. So I'm starting to see these different things. I'm like, wow, okay, here we go. This is an N-Hyper we haven't seen before. They still got that clutch? Well, YKG, right, needed the PMGC points. They needed more if they wanted that golden ticket to go to PMGC. And they decide to hot drop on N-Hyper. As we take a look right here. And that hot drop didn't go as expected. N-Hyper defended it, okay? As a matter of fact, I talked to Seven a little bit earlier. He told me that, you know, this was a set play by Joey as he talked to him. And Joey said, hey, you know what? We made some mistakes. We weren't able to get it done. But N-Hyper capitalized on it. YKG studied this team. They knew that they were going to split drop. N-Hyper said, nah, not today. We're going to defend this. You see the BM, and not to mention kindness at the end. Hit him with that little dance, baby. Hit him with that little dance. Oh, looking like this. Just flowing. So they had that clutch factor. I talked to Koi himself. He says that we have it. We saw it live in person. You know what? Talk is cheap, but the numbers do not lie, folks. And we're starting to see that right here. And then not to mention at the end, you see kindness dancing as he hits the 120 elimination mark here at this tournament. So this team, they got it all, folks. I am starting to see and have faith that I didn't have before this tournament started. So, having said all that, it's time for my hot take. And my hot take is simple. N-Hyper will not only make it to the PMPL Americas Championships, also the PUBG Mobile Global Championship League stage. They'll make it there. They'll also make it to the big show, baby. The PUBG Mobile Global Championship Grand Finals. That's my hot take, Koi. I'm taking you as a man for your word. I believe in y'all.
Let's go, Jukes. Let's go, baby. You're getting me pumped up over here with this hot takes. I like it. I don't know if I agree with it, but it doesn't matter. I'm all for it. I'm glad the Hot Jukes hot take is back, too, because I was not expecting that one, considering, as you mentioned, you didn't even pick him to be in the top 3. But you know what? We probably have a little time before the games get started. So let's pull up the overall graphic for the leaderboards, for the 3 phases, ladies and gentlemen, because I kind of hinted at it earlier on, too. The top 16 teams in this leaderboard are the ones that are going to be moving on towards the finals of the PMPL NA. And right now, I mean, the dominance, you can see it right there, Cam. N-Hyper, 565.
Yeah, so in terms of qualification for the finals here next weekend, it is total points over the 3 phases. The 3 phases are still split up as their own individual runs in a way for the bonus points, which this also general overall is the 4th way to get bonus points through that. So that's something we will be continuing to cover and update you guys as it progresses towards the end of this final phase here. But right now, NHyper with a massive lead, they're not going anywhere. Honestly, this really isn't the important part because bonus points at the top are good. You get, I think the bonus points that you get from phases 1, 2, and 3 are probably care about a little bit more. I want to see the next page here. I want to see where that cutoff is. 14th through 18th place. How close is that? And I'll be honest, it's not looking great for anyone below 16th place. It's actually such a clean cutoff, such a clean gap that we're seeing a separation right there. We've seen some good moments from Butterfly Effect, from BULUC, CHABTAN, Sweetfire, and Skills of Mind have actually been picking it up this week as well. But we're running out of games, guys, and with close to a 30-point gap between 16th and 17th place, we're gonna have to see some big moves from the bottom there, or otherwise the top 16 is gonna look the exactly like we saw just there on the overall as it stands.
I'm with you. I think the Butterfly Effect, we need to see something out of them. You mentioned Skills of Mind too, Speedfire, Skills of Mind too. I mean, a little bit of a throwback that we saw that you were mentioning too at the beginning of this phase on day 1. We actually saw them starting to get points, and then they just completely drop off. I'm hoping that today, with the day off, those teams that do need the points start doing something, because if not, the teams that are currently holding that angle in the 16th place, even though you might not like them, they might want to just BM a little bit. You know what? Just throw some hot drops here and there. But as you saw, the teams at the top, I mean, they're currently being absolute dominant, especially within Hyper. Why not? Let's take a look at how well some of these teams have done right throughout all the phases, because I'm pretty sure some of them have improved and some of them have declined. And I mean, in Hyper, are you kidding me? Almost 15 points per game. By the way, this graphic is pretty much showcasing points per game in each phase. And yeah, I'm just lost at words when I see NHyper's graphic.
Yeah. Averaging just under 15 points per game is insane. 15 points is like you play 2 games. One game you get a 20-point win, and the next game you get 5 eliminations, and then you go out. Like, that's the math. Okay, maybe not. 5 eliminations and 5th place. No, 6th place. Whatever it is. Anyway. 3rd place. Oh my god, I'm usually so good with these numbers. Anyway, the fact that they're doing it across, how many games have we played at this point? Like 8 right now?
Yep.
Like, they might stay at this by the time they hit 20, but they've had 12.5 points per game when they've had 20, and then even before that, over 9.8 is a really, really good number. So we're seeing some good scores across the board for teams like Extreme Slayers. NOMADS had such a good come up as a team who we didn't really talk about at all on phase 1, and then YKG, the downward slope of all downward slopes. It's just, you can just see how physically with these graphs right now, all of those numbers just pale in comparison to what NHyper have been delivering from start to finish here.
Yeah, and as dominant as NHyper's graphic is, I feel like we had to give some props to NOMADS, because this is a team that has definitely surprised us with what they've been able to do, right? Extreme Slayers, they've been consistent, even though they're currently not hitting the highest points, which is fine with me. But with NOMADS, I feel like the main thing that this team has turned around is the way they've been able to get a lot more eliminations as the phases have just gone through. Phase 1, they were averaging about 3.1 elim per match. Phase 2, 4.1. In this phase, as you mentioned, even though we've only played 8 matches, they're currently averaging almost 6 elims per match. And that was a big question mark for me for this team, because even going back to phase 2, day 1, this team ended up 4th place finish 4 times that day, but they only ended up with just 4 elims. I don't know if 4 is maybe their favorite number for that day, but after that, they decided to turn it around, and boy, did they turn it around in a big, big way, because they've been able to improve so much. And along the lines of what you were saying with YKG, we have to wait and see what they do, right? We heard Joey said that he's going to be going back to the playing style. Day 1, they were a little bit too worried about those PMGC points, which I feel like it did end up getting to them. Hopefully that kind of starts fading off with the day off that they have had. And I would like to see YKG from phase 1. I feel like that would be just such a great storyline to go into the finals.
Yeah, I mean, 11.8, that wasn't a fluke. That was over the course of their own 20 games on phase 1. So, like, we know they're a good team. We saw them last season. They were neck and neck with NHyper, like, the entire time. Like, YKG, the reason why this drop-off is so surprising is because it came out of nowhere. and the fact that it's such an extreme drop-off. You saw it was, what, just over 2 points per game? That's a ridiculous number. And these are really good players. I know Joey has a lot of fans. I'm in love with 24K as like the power. I still think he's the main powerhouse fragger on this team, but everyone here has something to deliver to the squad. And the whole storyline of, it's not storyline, it's the fact, right, of Fears sitting out last phase 2, so 2 weeks ago, and that sort of making it harder to play, which is very much a true thing. But then it's like even worse now. It's just so weird, really hard for any of us to really put our finger on what the world is going on. So I think one of the big hopes is like this break, they've had the experience of the first 2 days, they had a little bit of a day off the break and just sort of cleansed their spirits, and then moving on here back to basics, just sort of forget about the past and just push on forward. Even though they won't be able to push for the top of the leaderboards in phase 3, they'll be able to sort of confirm their position towards the top of the overall, and hopefully maybe even get into like the 1 or 2 bonus points of this phase.
Yeah, this rut that they're currently on, they need to make sure it goes away fast as soon as possible. Because we do have the finals coming up. This is a team that's going to be going to the finals. And yesterday, they even got some practice from what Joe was telling me in the PMCO. So Fear should be back up to par. And I expect this team to start doing what we saw in phase 1. But you know what? Let's actually take a look at the schedule for today to see what order the match we're going to be playing. Because if I'm not mistaken, that's right, baby. We got Sanhok first. And I absolutely love the madness. But I kind of feel bad for Group E, which is going to be, if we pull up the participating teams, YKG. This is a team that usually gets to take advantage. They didn't take advantage of Sanhok last time, but they usually take advantage by being able to third-party fights here and there. LOTUS Esports, a team that's been consistent. They're probably happy that they're not in this match with Sanhok. And then K19, K19 is a team that definitely needs those points.
Yeah, we've talked about Sanhok before and how it's unique as compared to all of the other maps. So it really is kind of a double-edged sword. On one hand, whether you're in the top or the bottom of the leaderboard, you can take advantage of the chaos. On the other hand, the chaos could take advantage of you. So, really it's just sort of a pick your poison sort of situation here for them. The only one that I agree with is like YKG missing it, because as a way to sort of like get into it, TDM, don't even really care about points, just sort of get their sort of finger muscles ready and raring to go as a warm-up. But they had their chance, they didn't use it, whatever, it happens.
And I'm actually hoping that Hyper continues on the dominance, and they actually continue on the dominance right here in Sanhok, because Sanhok for the longest time was one of their weakest match. And I feel like this season, with the progression that we've seen at Koi, with the progression that we've seen out of GK First now coming into phase 3, where he's currently just absolutely popping off, is not just kindness, right? I want to see them get a win here, and I want them to start being consistent here in Sanhok as well. Even though we don't play it as much as we do Erangel or Miramar, I still want to see that consistency here with them being able to frag out. We've seen them frag out before, and I feel like it can happen here. Let us know who you think is going to be fragging out today. Make sure you use the hashtag PMPL North America, whether it's on our Discord, whether it's on X.com, whatever it is that you like to use, make sure you do that. And I was seeing you shaking your head there, Cam, when I was saying
Sanhok
that. What was going on there?
Sanhok and consistent do not exist in the same sentence.
You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. You might want to talk to the Brazilian teams, because if we know something about Brazilian teams, is that they are always consistent in Sanhok. So you might disagree with it, but I think Sanhok is one of my favorite maps, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen in this one. So Hajik, take it away.
And we are live. What's up, everybody? I got Zoo right next to me. Bro, what did you think so far about, what did you think about the hot take? What did you think about the desk talking about everything as well?
I think your hot take was beautifully done. It highlighted from beginning to end the growth of Hyper, the unbelievable feat that they've achieved, and also YKG, trying to do something about it. So it's not like they're just getting a free pass and this Hyper team. It's everything that we wanted it to be. And as far as your hot take goes, Hyper makes it to the grand finals, I'm on board with that. I don't see how they won't make it, because qualifying into the grand finals is difficult, Jukes. Don't get me wrong. It is difficult. I have been there. I remember thinking, I think when I was there, it was like top 16 out of 20 teams. I was like, oh, piece of cake. Top 16 out of 20 teams.
No
How
sweat.
can we not make it? Yeah, no sweat. No, man. Once you get to the grand finals, the best of the best in the whole world, oh boy, that skill level jumps a whole lot. So Hyper, you know, they're dominating NA right now, but once you get to the grand finals, it's a whole nother story. But with how well they're playing, Jukes, I think, yeah, I gotta agree. I think they can make it into the grand finals of the PUBG Mobile Global Championship.
Yeah, to be fair, I'll feel a whole lot more confident about that hot take if we could see the same performance, right? The same attitude in the Americas Championship alone, right? Because that's the whole different level here. But, you know, just looking at their movement, their confidence, right? You know, talking to Koi and him, you know, mentioning the fact that, you know, that they put in enough time, they put in enough work together, and now they're able to actually start, you know, clutching it up and seeing it in person, right? Seeing the difference. I think that it's 100% possible. I had to put it out there in the universe, you know, because if I did it, it won't gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So let's start off with this Sanhok match with a nice southern circle. You know, Passionfruit is like, yeah, once again, can't catch a break with
Never
getting
the
that zone up there at
Northwest.
the top. Yeah, never happens.
I will say this southern circle does work out better for Passionfruit than an eastern circle. The rotation pathing is way more easier. And oh, we still got the hot drop going on between Butterfly Effect and Canadian Eagles. These two teams will not give up Paradise Resort. No ifs, ands, buts. They're going to keep fighting it out here. I'm surprised they haven't really, like, changed it up. You know, they're just going to keep hot dropping because it's been pretty back and forth. No team really dominant taking this spot.
Well, Butterfly Effect is definitely a squad that needs some points big time. Because remember, folks, it's top 16 that move on. And Butterfly Effect, with these hot drops, have not been helped pretty much at all. So let's see if they can win one out here. And the problem is that even if they do win one out, you know that getting out of here is going to be a problem. They are lucky at the fact that YKG is not in the lobby, right? Because before, they would always third-party this. So they have a little bit of extra breathing room on that end. But, I mean, this is always a fight that that just gives me kind of a question mark. Because Sanhok has so much loot that you could just loot up and then move away. And they don't have to worry about too much. But instead, these guys are just hard-pressed on trying to get a couple of these players out of here. Man, look at this. D is so pushed up. He does have some good support fire, but I think Baby Tang knows that Cloudy is always in the spot. He's going to probably throw a nade right out there. Oh, no, misses it.
This nade's going to be huge if it connects.
Looks good.
Oh, it is good.
Got him.
The push there, and oh, the pressure. I like that peek. Putting the pressure on, but not committing off of that knock until his teammates are closer. They should go in for the finishing blow now. Oh, nice little jump up, a follow-up nade. You cannot go for the revive in such a contended spot right there. You are in the front lines. You gotta stay up.
That? Oh!
The jump over, and he gets thirsted. Oh, this is what happens, Shooks. The beginning goes so well, then the adrenaline kicks in, and things start falling apart. Kubi, he's gonna come here and finish it up down to the last player, and Butterfly Effect do finish it. But you saw that, Jukes. D jumped over, got knocked, and thirsted. There was no need for that. But it happens all the time. The beginning, they play it so well. Comms start getting flooded, adrenaline is pumping, and one player oversteps. That's a clear sign of a team that's got potential, right? But they just need more of that experience and that maturity.
100%, 100%. You know, speaking of the PMGC Grand Finals, the discipline those teams have in those situations, is ridiculous because they understand that if you lose a player on early on, it just crushes your potential, and it could be the difference, right, between hundreds of thousands of dollars. So this is the reason why we're being especially, critical of plays like that because he could have just done nothing. He could have just stood there, waited for the rest of his team, and they would have been able to clear everybody out anyway.
100% agree with that.
He was looking juicy though. I ain't gonna lie.
He felt it.
He was looking juicy.
He was feeling it. He was feeling it. If he did the same exact thing maybe half a second later, it would have been fine. Even if he got a knock, his teammates would have been ready. We got Puppeteers here. Reckless, not the last member, one of two up. Reckless is by himself, though. He's going to have to go for this 1v4. Playing aggressive. I like that. He's by himself, so he's got to go. Just go for the thirst. Go for the thirst. There we go. He gets the thirst and almost gets a second knocked, but he goes down.
That's the right play, though. I mean, he was separated from the rest of his squad. And he was completely stuck, and he knew that the rest of the team was coming. This is what we kind of was talking about yesterday. about how sometimes you just have to send it, right? You have to send it. You know that you're going to get taken out no matter what if you just sit there and wait. So, I mean, yeah, Reckless does go down. He can work on that positioning later on, but that was the play.
100%. Here comes PASSIONFRUIT. The drive-in. Nate is down, but they're getting the better of BULUC CHABTAN. PASSIONFRUIT looking
Watch
good.
out!
You know, this is a fight that we've seen, you know, a couple times before, but PASSIONFRUIT is usually on the losing end. And just as I say that, hold on, PASSIONFRUIT's down to just one? Yeah, it's just Juancho up. The
Don't
Lord
worry.
and Savior, Juancho.
Juancho! Breaking his
The
curse.
1v1. No, not yet. Not yet, Jukes.
No, he did. He did already. He broke the curse. He broke the curse of, I think he was 0 in like 8 games. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
okay.
he has broken the curse, and now the eliminations are starting to flow. That's a good nade there for Juancho. Here he goes,
gonna
pushing
get
Illusion
this?
to the DPS. He's feeling himself. He's going to the left. He's going to the right. He's saying, you know what? I don't need right-hand peek. I'm going left anyway. DBS. Oh, a couple brief fires. Misses him. No sweat. Jump shot. Goodbye.
That was good. That was good. That DBS did nick him just enough to give Juancho the advantage right there. PASSIONFRUIT, they win the fight. They lose 2, though. I'd say for Sanhok, especially for PASSIONFRUIT, that's a dub. Take it. Because they usually do a lot worse on Sanhok. I'm not gonna lie.
You know what? Yeah, that's true. That is true. We got to give props. We got to give props where we see progress. You know what I'm saying? When it does come to PASSIONFRUIT, just by looking at that push, right? Seeing players go solo, right? Going and trying to make these plays. It was just kind of the same thing we saw from Butterfly Effect earlier, right? Could have just had that discipline, waited, you know, cover each other, and they would have won that fight. But sometimes, you know, that you're so used to trying to make plays, all it takes is one little slip up, and you're down 2 players just like that. Next zone does pop on over. Cave is still in play, baby. Come on, Cave. I did like the fact that we got to see a little bit of a Cave finish one time, right? Oh, I was so hyped. But I want to see a full-fledged finish in Cave. That'd be so sick.
Yeah, we had a couple fights in Cave. So it got pretty close to the end zone over there. But yeah, this Southern Circle, we've seen a lot. And Sanhok, these teams should definitely be prepared for it. One team in particular on that south side, Execute. They had to fight in Hyper like 9 out of 10 times every time it's a South Circle. So this is a fight they should definitely be prepared for. And also, not yesterday, 2 days ago, we saw Execute show up huge, Jugs. They had a 20 elimination. Not chicken dinner. I was about to say chicken dinner because usually 20 elimination and chicken dinner go hand in hand. But they had like 20 eliminations. I think they got top 3. This might be a different Execute we see today as SLR just... Yeah, car rotations. They work on Sanhok, but you got to know how to do it.
You got to know how to get it done. And meanwhile, we're going to see Extreme Slayers start putting some pressure there on MEZEXIS. And Baton goes down. That's got to hurt. And meanwhile, let's take a look here. Yeah, look at that Crow. Just the lone Crow. Trying to figure out what he's going to do for the rest of the match because... rest of his team is gone. Wall Street Bets. We haven't really talked about that, right? Wall Street Bets get 4 eliminations on the board. Starting to see some growth from them. As they did hear that fight with Extreme Slayer. So they heard the fight. How are they going to press it? You know, are they going to go and... oh, they're going to... okay, so they're cleaning up those last limbs they got. So they're cleaning that up. A little bit too far away, I think, to even get into this fight. So I think they're just going to take the money and run.
Yeah, they got a better position further into the center circle by staying at that compound too. Extreme Slayers, by the way, we didn't catch it on camera, but I saw it just barely. They just drove up that hill with all 4, like in vehicles, extremely fast, and just caught MEZEXIS by surprise and just overtook that hilltop in a blink of an eye. So Extreme Slayers showing us how it's done on Sanhok.
Let's see. Look, as we take a look here at Speedfire. Okay, so one of the players from Wall Street Bets does get knocked. That's got to hurt. But they should be able to get that res off here in no time. And the game does continue on. Okay, so, you know, we're looking at that finish from the legendary squad that is Wall Street Bets. Butterfly Effect still with us 4 eliminations. I'm really keen to see how Butterfly Effect finishes this match here. Because, you know, they finally got the leg up on the Canadian Eagles. They did lose a player kind of willy-nilly here, but let's see if they're able to actually, right, get a strong finish from what is a dominant place to land, right? I mean, they pretty much have the lay of the land now. Let's see where this circle does end up. Come on, let's. Oh, actually, don't go cave. Don't go cave. Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, if it goes towards cave, Jukes, okay, it doesn't. But I was gonna
Alright.
say if it goes towards cave, it might not even be a cave finish because N Hyper is just gonna push everybody so far away from cave that the game will end too early, and we won't even see a finish in cave. So I mean, N Hyper being N Hyper, but this circle, Jukes, execute.
Cool. Yep.
So okay, just throwing it out there, execute. This is a great circle for them. They gotta play it right though. It may have seemed like they got circle gifted, but it's not always easy holding it down. Now, if it was N Hyper switched around, oh, that's an easy dub almost for N Hyper. So let's see if Execute can play the split and play the defense here and capitalize on this huge opportunity they have.
They're not.
Really, you don't believe so?
No,
They showed up.
No.
They showed up.
No, it's because you talked about them.
Oh. All right, we'll see if
Should've
that's
talked
how
about
we'll see if that's how the curse works. All right.
Yeah, that's how the
We'll
curse
see.
works. Yeah,
We'll see,
you talk
we'll see.
about you talk about execute, they go down. You don't talk about execute, and they dominate. Remember?
Okay.
Remember?
Yeah, I did say that. I did say that. But they got me so hyped. 2011. They did something.
But they didn't even get top 3.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
They didn't even get top 3. Predicted them. Okay, you know
Uh,
what? I'm not salty about that. I'm not salty about that, guys, at all. Let's take a look at Ace of Spades. Trying to put some point against Butterfly Effect. Nice
Ooh.
knock there from Hyro. Hyro getting that finish. Oh, that's on Butterfly Effect too. Man, Butterfly Effect, this is what I was talking about, right? They land Paradise Resort, which is a pretty dominant spot. It's pretty easy to rotate away from there since there's so many different ways you can. But they're never able to really utilize it to the best of their ability. They're stuck over here way in the blue zone. I mean, what do you think about their pathing in general?
it's tough. I think their pathing should be better by now because we've had so many southern circles. But of course, starting it off with a hot drop delays a lot of things. And not only that, it gives info to all the people around Paradise like, hey,
True.
this team's fighting. They lost a player. They're going to be behind us because they're slow. So we're going to be in front, but we have to keep an eye out for Butterfly Effect behind us. So it's just everything goes kind of horribly wrong. And Paradise is usually really strong because we see a lot of northern circles on Sanhok typically. This
True.
tournament so far,
Cloudy.
all southern.
Cloudy is owning right now. He's going to have 4 eliminations all by himself. So wiping an entire squad solo, that's pretty good. I mean, 5 eliminations is solid, right? Because that's some decent points on the board. I always say if you want to be a championship team, like if you want to get first place, the goal is to try and get, 7 points on the board in a game where you don't get zone, right? And then the games where you do, you got to pull out those 15, 10 plus chicken dinners, or top 3 finishes. And with this next circle, execute. This is your time to shine. No excuses, execute. Okay, don't do too much. Don't do this crazy split trying to go ahead and hold Camp Charlie, right? Take the spot, right? You have a hard shift like this, just hug the zone, go to that hard shift side, take all that real estate, and then just dominate. Let's see what they do, though.
Yeah, they will have to contend with N-Hyper. N-Hyper across the ways, the only other team pretty much across that river, and N-Hyper have 4 up. And this is N-Hyper, right? Like, that's going to be tough. As is going to be tough for Execute to deal with. And N-Hyper, they got so many points. I think they're going to go for the game-winning play, which is not just be neighbors with Execute, but take that position away from them. We'll see what happens in the next few moments.
Koi does get knocked, so that's going to be pretty tough. So they did try to make that bold rotation, but they're going to lose a few players in the process. So it is going to be just 2 up left for N-Hyper. Let's take a look as Cloudy finally does get finished out. Nice effort there from Butterfly Effect. Meanwhile, let's look at BOPE. Nightcroc's about to go down to the blue zone here. Papa Blue just put in that work. And down goes BOPE. Juancho looking, saying, yep, he gone. Oh, Juancho with 4 eliminations by himself. So, yeah, he's wiped out an entire squad. And he's going to hold this edge as Blue zone is starting to come in. He has plenty of first aids to last a little bit longer, but I think all sight lines are on him, so he's in big trouble.
Yeah, as that Skills of Mine player was looking directly at him.
He knows it. He knows it. Uh-oh, thin tree. Trying to make it. Oh, he missed it. And Kindness.
Kindness still popping off. And Hyper down to 2, but Kindness is up. So they're still going to be getting that work in right now. And they have a nice little compound. Pretty safe on the edge of zone, though. So, and Hyper try and do what they can with 2. We've seen them do more. So we'll see. Wancho's still alive. Yeah, you saw him in the background over there.
He's hurting, but he's still alive. Ah, there goes the play zone. So,
yeah.
PASSIONFRUIT done. Let's see where the rest of the teams are going to line up. The question, Zute, which we're about to answer here in the next 15 seconds, right, is which team is going to win the match? You guys in the chat, put it in right now. Put it before the circle even pops over. Is it going to be Execute? Is it going to be Extreme Slayers? Even 412 is a threat. I'm not going to lie. 412 have shown us something in these recent days. Next zone does go on up. Wall Street Bets is dead center, looking pretty. Who's going to win this one here as we start seeing the push? Nice push from Execute, taking it in Hyper.
Ooh, I like this. I like this a lot. Clean finish at DBS, so deadly. And the nade, to make sure, you know, if he got knocked, the nade was going to come in and finish it off. Now, Execute didn't have to push down the hill whatsoever. They had the best spot up on that hill, but they...
Yeah.
And the big thing is, they didn't mess it up. Because we see Execute mess up, you know, those 4v2, 4v1 pushes from time to time. That was a cleanly done one. They keep all 4 up, right back into position. Looking good.
Well, let's see who is going to win this match. Wall Street Bets keeping an eye on everybody across the water here. You can see Killjoy trying to get those sight lines. See if he sees somebody trying to run on in. Extreme Slayers are nearby. Now, Extreme Slayers is going to have to push into this next circle. They do have a little bit of real estate here with Remix. That little edge of the hill is fine for them. Which team won the match? Every single person picking a different squad here. That's going to be pretty interesting. Uh-oh. Wall Street Bets knocking one of the players, Hayuya, down all the way on the back line. That's going to be tough because I don't think he's going to get res from there.
That's good for my prediction because the biggest threat to Wall Street Bets is the Extreme Slayers. If Extreme Slayers can mount a full-on crash, Extreme Slayers could be very deadly. But already down to 3, that might also make them hesitate. They might just play for the survival mode, which is wait for the next zone and then crash in, but they'll be crashing in with 3. So Extreme Slayers looking in a dire situation. Wall Street Bets should be fully focused on their backside. Execute stepping in and helping out Wall Street Bets with that. Fate will get that knock, almost gets the confirmation too, and ooh, the revive will come through, but Execute will be pinning that team in.
Oh, this is going to be bad for my prediction because the reason why I picked 412 is because I was thinking that, you know what, Extreme Slayers are going to push Wall Street Bets. 412 is going to come in, third party, Execute, going to execute because, of course, Zute talked about them, and then... You know, we'll just see how that all goes from there. But you know what? Still anybody's game. Wall Street Bets big chilling right now. The circle's big enough for all these teams to get a little bit of breathing room until the next one pops. And, oh, actually it does. Yeah, so there's 29 seconds left on the clock. And the zone has favored Execute big time. This is a very, very fortunate shift for them. So Trick's actually under the bridge. That's really interesting. So they're rocking a 3-1 split. 3 players up on top of the hill with Trick underneath the bridge to kind of hold things off. Oh, and there go the NOMADS picking up their back line here. And now that's clear, so they don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, I like Trick's spot, but I'm thinking maybe after zone shifts to it, because Trick can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trick can't be too aggressive with by himself down there, right? Kill switch might be going down to Trick or just readjusting. I mean, Execute have so many options that might confuse them, right? We see it when Execute has too many play options. They try and do too much, and they start losing players by one. And Execute, they're fully splitting up right now. So I hope what I just said doesn't come to fruition. They're looking good, though. They're getting knocks. They're picking up points. They're making use of all the terrain they got.
I'm so glad Trick moved away to that compound because I was like, if he stays under that bridge, 412 is going to crash that bridge most likely, and he's going to be in a 4v1 situation. But they are getting absolutely shredded. So no vehicles on the side of 412. They're gone.
4v4 situation.
Yep, here we go. It's between Execute and Wall Street Bets. Who's going to win it?
I pick Wall Street Bets. Who picked Execute on the desk? I think it was.
It was 7.
7.
7 picked Execute.
Okay, all right.
have
7
the
and Oh no, the circle shift. Oh, let's go. Okay.
Oh, it's
Now
Execute.
Is Fate gonna be able to get revived? I don't think so. Trying to do a little bit too much, splitting up once again, right? That's what I'm saying. When they have too many options, they tend to do a little too much, and things start falling apart. They didn't need all 4 different angles, but
Nice
they
shot
get
there
you
from
on.
Casper.
Kill switch going back for the revive, Jukes. That could be good.
caught
Another
2.
knock. That's huge for Execute.
Oh, Wall Street Bets is stuck. It's over.
Oh,
it's over.
it's
It's
done.
all Execute.
Yeah, it's done.
And that's the game. Execute, win it. So the curse has been eliminated, Zute. Execute starting off strong here. We saw them bust out that crazy elimination game just the other day, and then now they start the day off with a chicken dinner. Could this be the beginning for Execute?
I'd say the beginning for Execute was the day previous when they got that 20 chicken. Or not 20. I keep saying 20 chicken because 20 eliminations just coincides with chicken dinner so well, but they didn't. But this game, they finally got the winner chicken dinner. And 9 eliminations, 1,600 damage. Very little damage received. That's always good to see. And look, they're not even on the match report because that was teamwork. Not a single player, had to carry all the weight. All 4 players of Execute putting in the work and getting that chicken.
Hey, cool to see Cloudy up on there, right? Him getting some nice points on the board. Good for him. But you know what? I think that obviously this was a great game for Execute. And 7, you got the prediction right, man. I can't wait to see you show gloat a little bit over here right after the highlights.
The Sute curse is gone, ladies and gentlemen. And Execute right now drinking that Monster Energy, our official energy drink partner, because to be fair, the way that they were able to play that, the way that they were able to rotate, the way that they were able to fight within Hyper, a completely different team here, Kama. So we're going to be looking at the match rankings.
Yeah, let's pull it up. This was a lot of fighting spread out across a lot of the different teams. Execute still got 9 elimination points, so like right on the average sort of expectations for a win, but they didn't really get activated until the end game. A lot of the fighting in the mid was on that eastern side before all those teams had to cross over the Painan River, which is why you see Wall Street Bets also have 9 eliminations because they were picking up a lot of scraps there. But just look how even the eliminations are, 3rd down through 8th, and I'm sure we're going to see a couple of more like 3 or 4 elim scores on the other half of this page. I mean, it's Sanhok at the end of the day. You just got to TDM that map out. So in fact, we saw it in the very beginning. If you remember, there was a contest over Paradise Resort of all places.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
much
Butterfly, it was between Butterfly Effect and Canadian Eagles, and I'm actually glad that Butterfly Effect ended up winning that fight and ended up with 6 points here, because K19 was not part of this match, but Butterfly Effect is trying to catch up K19. I mean, I think they were, if I'm not mistaken, 28 points behind, 16th place in the overall for all phases, right? The top 16 teams that are going to be going for the finals. Good to see that Butterfly Effect was able to win that. I don't really agree with that hot drop there, but whatever. You know what? That's actually a miracle. Did I just say I don't agree with the hot drop?
You're the one that said just
let me check my
in there. What are you
real
doing?
quick.
You're the one that loves the hot drops. You're the one that says that we need more of them. I think for a team like the Butterfly Effect, who really need a lot of things to go right, they're one of the teams that actually could utilize hyper-aggressive early game movements, and I think Sanhok especially is one that could really open themselves up for that. And yeah, so on the second page, we do still see multiple teams with a couple of eliminations here and there, so it's not nearly, actually there's only one, everyone got a point. Wow, everyone got at least 1 point. If you guys weren't here for the first few days of this week, so many of the rounds, it was like at least half, if not more, of the second page of match rankings were just a bunch of zeros. But if anything, this just shows how much fighting parallel teams were having to do running in from east to west from the blue. When I say parallel, I mean like you're running from the blue and you're looking to your left or your right and you see another team running with you and you're like trying to shoot at them, but you're also having to run at the same time. It's not the easiest place to have a fight in. But that's why the eliminations are a little more spread out, because there was a lot more chaos for teams to like pick up one or two and not as many options for a reset or revive of a down teammate.
Yeah, but overall, I feel like I have to go back with Execute, the way that they were able to control most of the map whenever the circle kept going their way. They were able to rotate too. I mean, we saw Trick, as the casters were talking about it, we saw Trick go towards Bridge, towards the end, and he was like, you know what, this might be a little bit too soon. They decided to back off and just quick gathering, quick going back to their places too, something that we haven't seen out of Execute. I mean, we did see Fake getting knocked a little bit, overextending, which is something that we have continued to see is becoming a pattern, so maybe they'll be able to fix that too. But overall, great win there from Execute. But let's take a look at the overall for Phase 3, because this is, remember, we're going to be getting some bonus points. And yeah, obviously, no surprise there, seeing NHyper at the top with 124 points. Maybe they just want to give some other teams some time to catch up. But Execute, with that win, pushed themselves up to that third place with 79 points.
Yeah, sorry, I'm having to look back and see where they were before this match. Execute, we're already in 5th. So again, as Zute even mentioned, they did have a 20 elimination game beforehand. It wasn't a win, it was only 4th place. I'm using heavy air quotes when I say only, because it was still 20 eliminations. But Execute have been on the come up, so the fact that they're starting off today with another win only continues that momentum further. And like again, you're seeing Wall Street Bets also plays higher. Lotus Esports, Lazy Reflex, two teams that are usually in the middle to maybe even lower middle section. They're all contesting up here. And then on the bottom half, this is again, remind you guys, if you haven't been here from the first few days, we're seeing a couple of teams that you expect to be on the top half. Down here, Ace of Spades is one to note, BOPE Esports, but it's PASSIONFRUIT. And guys, and Puppeteers as well. But guys, like, remember, where's YKG? Like, we still haven't even seen them yet. That's how low they are down. They're going to be in the bottom 4 positions, and they haven't played yet. But this is just a reminder to everyone how big of a hill that they have to climb. They are currently in 20th place. They are 1 match behind all the teams above them with Speedfire, Butterfly, and Skills of Mind. So definitely take that into consideration. But they are in last place right now.
Yeah, it's going to come down to seeing how YKG starts off the next match, since it is going to be the first one of today. And then the Butterfly Effect, I mean, I was mentioning them. This is the team that wants to catch up to K19. K19 didn't get a chance to play that last match, but I mean, 6 points for them. They're going to be happy about it. We'll have to wait and see if they're actually going to continue to hard drop or if they're going to continue to be a little bit more aggressive. They are going to be sitting out the next match. So, you know what? We don't really get to see what could have happened if they can carry at least some momentum out of those 6 points. But I want to see maybe the top teams for Erangel. Who has been performing really, really well? Who's been able to get those chicken dinners? Who's been able to get the most points? And right now, yeah, no surprise. NHyper, YKG, perfect time to come in. We were talking about you. We're looking at you. Well, guess what? This is your time to shine.
Yeah. So this is, my understanding is that this is the map performance over the course of this entire season so far, which is why YKG are still so high, because even though this phase is poor, if you remember, they had a really, really good phase 1, and it wasn't the best, but it was still an okay phase 2. So hopefully, again, with the break and even being able to watch this first match, or actually, if anything, probably just play a bunch of TPN themselves, come out into this. It's the El Clasico in terms of maps. They should know what they're doing here more than any other place. Their numbers are not that far. Okay, they're pretty far behind NHyper, but so is everyone's, right? They're ahead of everyone else here. All eyes are going to be on YKG, and not for the reasons that they're used to, but that's just the way that it is right now. If you want to be a champion, you need to be able to deliver when the pressure is high, and coming into the final 3 days of this phase, the pressure has never been higher.
Yeah, for teams that are going to be starting to feel the pressure, I'm actually going to be looking at Stream Slayers. I mean, they are going to be sitting out this match, which is going to end up hurting them in a big way. But we kind of saw them there in Sanhok trying to do something. At least they were able to survive, right? Be within at least the top 70, if I'm not mistaken, it was for this team. We need to start seeing more out of them. I feel like the consistency, the amount of points that they get, yeah, it's good to get you to where they are currently at. Yeah. But if this team wants to become a champion, for the longest time, we kind of talked about it too. This team was relying a little bit too heavy on remix, and we started seeing some of the other players starting to come up, but it kind of has died down. maybe they do need Remix to be that main fragger and everybody just rally behind them. We saw that happen a while back, and I mean a while back with Knights when Coop started fragging out in a big way. I'm hoping that they kind of start seeing that and they kind of start putting Remix in a position where he can actually frag out.
Yeah, looking at Extreme Slayer's numbers from at least this phase, they always get something. There isn't a single game that they've played so far that they've had 0 points in. They always get a couple. In fact, I think their lowest is getting 3 points from a 5th place finish with 0 elimination. So they always get something. But yeah, we need to see even more of those sort of high value games like their win with 10 eliminations. Give us more of that.
Yeah, well, you know what? They're going to be sitting now. We have other teams that are going to be sitting now, but YKG is coming into Erangel, and I can't wait to see how they're going to be performing here. So, Hajuk, Sute, let us know how they're going to be performing. Can they get a win? Yes or no?
Goodness gracious, I hope so. I hope so. Come on, YKG. Make this that much more intense, baby. It's time for them to hype things up and show us what they showed us in phase 1. So that's what I'm hoping for. What about you, Zoo?
I'm hoping we see that phase 1 YKG sometime soon. You know, like it's been almost 2 whole weeks now.
Rough.
And it's not like they fell off a little bit. They fell off hard. They are last place. They are 20th out of 20 teams.
Unreal.
Yeah, sure they have like one game less played than like majority of the other teams, but still 20th out of 20 teams. This is YKG. I almost don't know if they can bring it back to that phase 1 status like in this tournament.
That's unreal. It's so hard to say and hard to think. I mean, yesterday I was even caught doubting just a little bit, but I can't doubt, baby. I cannot lose faith in the legend that is Joey, okay? Joey, show up. Start Joeying. That's all he has to do. If Joey starts Joeying, we're going to be fine. But if he doesn't, then we're going to be in some big trouble. We're going to see this zone. It's a very favorable one, right, for YKG. So let's see how they're able to handle it. This is in their territory. They're going to stretch, most likely try to find some vehicles, head on over to Prim Wars. Hopefully they do get some of those vehicles. And in the meanwhile, you see NHyper doing their normal split. So no crazy hot drops from YKG to start things off. I think they kind of want to go ahead and get their footing first and then go from there.
Yeah, I wish YKG won that hot drop because then we definitely see more of it and that would have made things so interesting. But NHyper shut down that hot drop so strongly that it was like a huge statement. Like if YKG maybe got some knocks in that hot drop that we saw a few days ago, they might have tried it again. But it's a whole different story when NHyper did what they did to YKG. So yeah, no more hot drops between the two. There is another world where it would have worked, and we might be seeing a whole different other tournament being played out right now. But sadly, that is not the case. And yeah, with this zone, Jukes, I do expect a lot of rotations, but not much fighting whatsoever because you know it's so many strong positions in this huge circle, and it's pretty easy to rotate around in.
Big chillin', right? Big chillin' circle. Yeah, this is a very common one over here on this Gatka side. So, you know, these teams are just very, very comfy. Nothing out of the ordinary here, no matter where the zone pretty much goes. So let's see. Let's see how it all turns out at the end of the day. That's what I'm really looking forward to. Now, you know, we definitely have to start keeping an eye right, on those bottom teams, right? Which teams are going to make it into that top 16? Because, you know, honestly, I hate to say it, but until I see something from YKG, you know, I think the storyline is just pretty much dead in the water so far, you know? I want to see a little sign of life. If we could see a, you know, double-digit chicken dinner, I'm like, all right, here we go. You know what I'm saying? But until then, I mean, I'm gonna be focusing on these teams trying to make it in, because so far, NHyper, they are just been way too dominant. I mean, it's crazy. Even when they don't get zone Zoo, they still put up points on the board.
Yeah, it's the NHyper team. We mentioned it on broadcast a few days ago, but it's just like we don't see anything that they could get better at, honestly. Not with this lobby. And I said it before, this lobby's just not challenging enough for N-Hyper. You want N-Hyper to push? They're doing pushes. You want N-Hyper to do big splits? They do big splits. You want N-Hyper to do really good rotations? Well, I mean, they've been doing that since the dawn of time. So they have they have every single like facet of PUBG Mobile skills, like as a team, synergy, everything like locked out from what we could see in this tournament, right?
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think it's not until later when there's more challenging teams that we might see some cracks here and there within Hyper. But yeah, for now, we can't nitpick anything. I mean, we tried. We were like, average survival time, 18 minutes? The rest of their team is at 22 minutes. What's this player doing? Right? Poking fun at, I believe it was 7. That was nitpicking that stat a few days ago. But that's just how it is. It's like, it's so rare, Jukes, that we like almost can't talk about the best team in the lobby because we've said the same thing over and over and over, and it's just like that's just how it is.
Sure, and it's crazy because the way they've been
nothing more to
performing,
say.
yeah, there really isn't. There's only one thing, right? There's only one thing that's kind of tickling the back of my brain, Sute.
Okay,
right?
so there is something. Okay,
There
what
is something, right? But it's not anything they can change right now. Okay, that's the
Okay.
problem with it. There's nothing that they can change right now,
yeah.
right? So the only thing that's scratching and tickling the back of my brain, right, is that phase 1 performance. Okay, and the reason why I say that is because since then we have not seen them miss out on those clutch opportunities, right? They've been clutch. They defended hot drops, right? They've owned games with ease, wiped out the lobby with crazy just swiftness, okay? But, you know, in that first phase, we did see some slip-ups. We did see, and I'm just automatically that Vikendi game is just beating at the back of my brain, right? Where they just made those mistakes and lost players early, okay? Now, the only question I have is, are we going to have that happen in the finals? You know what I'm saying? Are they going to be off to a slow start once again? You know, are we going to have that in the Americas Championship?
What? Hold on,
You know,
Jukes. What are they doing?
They're about to get. Oh, they're lucky. HH24 had to reload there. Oh, goodness gracious. He's gonna lose both tires.
Whoever was the driver of BULUC, they are hearing it from the rest of the squad. He legit
What are you doing?
just went in circles. Like, I understand they don't like this position because it's so hard to keep your car safe there, and you just kind of get pinned in. So that's why they wanted to keep trying to move out, but they just kept driving open in the sightlines. And in a better lobby, that car gets blown up.
100%.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. So they're lucky to be alive right now. But yeah, geez, that was kind of scary to see.
That was rough. That was rough indeed. BULUC CHABTAN, and they're stuck. They're stuck there. Like, I talk about that complex a lot. It's a bad one. It really is, because there's no place to protect your vehicles. So they're going to get exploded, and then if you have to rotate away from it, you're just stuck in the wide open with zero cover. And everything is so far away that you can't even smoke wall towards it. So the only time you take that compound is if it's super late game, the end zone is in that area, and that's the only thing you can take. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Definitely agree with that one. And credit to BULUC for knowing that. That's why they kept driving around. They didn't want to stop there, but... Ooh, PASSIONFRUIT looking to stop BOPE in their tracks. Right now, there's 2 players of BOPE, but PASSIONFRUIT looking so strong. It's a 2v1 right now. Make that a... Yeah, it is. It's still a 2v1. Ophelia almost gets Juancho and BALUC. But nice finish for PASSIONFRUIT immediately. Revives coming through. Smoke's coming in. Nice to see. And just as Zona's about to pop, they're good to go. 4 eliminations. This PASSIONFRUIT team looking better. Looking better. I will give them that much.
I'll tell you what. You know who's looking really better, Sute?
Who's that?
YKG. You know why? Tell me why.
Because they got the zone.
Yeah, but what else?
They have 4 up.
What else?
They got Quarry under lock.
Yes, what else?
Bope's
gone!
I don't know.
Bope's out of here!
Oh!
Yeah. Bope is gone! So their
You think
kryptonite
Bope
is out of the
Bope
lobby.
would have been a... You think BOPE would have been a threat all the way on the eastern side when YKG's on the west?
BOPE's a threat to YKG no matter where they're at on the map.
That's
baby.
fair. That's fair, Jinx.
Crazy.
It doesn't matter.
I don't know why, but BOPE has just been tough to YKG. Every fight we've seen, right? YKG has struggled against BOPE. So I know that them seeing them go out the lobby, they're like, woo, maybe it's a sign, baby. Right? Maybe it's a sign.
I will say though, Jukes, YKG with getting zone and playing big splits, not their forte though. Not their forte. So we'll see how well they do with this one. As you can see, they're trying to readjust, and I'm sure if we can hear their comms, they're ping-ponging back and forth a couple of options of what kind of splits they should play. You know, if it was in Hyper, all 4 brains immediately, just like, yep, we know exactly where each and single one of us should be for this zone. Play the split perfectly. So we'll see if YKG could do something similar as PASSIONFRUIT just mowing players out. Juancho with 2, Valak with 2, Zuko with 1. They're looking good.
They're looking good indeed. And yeah, you're right. I mean, when it comes to YKG, we've seen them have so much success, right? Playing that edge, just pushing teams like crazy and just being that aggressive, dominant force in phase 1. But when it comes to defending, like circles where they're in center zone, we haven't seen them have a lot of success where we normally would, right? As a matter of fact, the last time I think I remember seeing that was an Erangel, and Hyper ended up mowing them down. So I think this is a good chance to see some signs of life from YKG, right? They said, you know, Seven said he talked to him, that they got some good practice during PMCO. So hopefully they finally, what I like to call, have downloaded the update. You know what I'm saying? You gotta download that update on the lobby. And Hyper, it took a little while. It took a whole phase for them to download it, but they got it downloaded.
Yeah, K19 trying to download some homing missiles with those grenades. They catch one, but it is going to be a revive. And just throw it out there, Jukes. This whole time while we were talking, since I brought up YKG, not knowing what splits to do, they are still moving around back and forth. They are still not sure what kind of split to do. They had Corey. You can see out right there on the minimap. They had some on Corey when we started this conversation. Then they backed all the way up to the left, and then they separated, then they grouped, then they separated. Yeah, splits, not their forte. As BULUC trying to land some shots in now onto the K19 team who are rotating away. K19 getting away safely from BULUC, but right into the arms of Baby Tang. Baby Tang will pick up one.
Toquito gone, just like that. Next zone does pop. All right, it is going to be heading into that very pier area. And yeah, you're right. When it comes to YKG, just looking at their positioning, it just, it gives hesitancy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you could just see them just trying to pick the best spot, picking multiple areas, you know, as opposed to, you know, a team like in Hyper, when you see them pick a spot, they're like, oh, this is it. This is the best spot in this area, you know?
They lock it in.
They lock it in. They're like, this is the best spot, hands down. We know it, you know, and YKG's like, should we go here? Should we go there? Now they're going to have to move.
Up.
Yeah. Now they're going to have to move into this next zone. When they had a lot of good real estate, that's going to go ahead and get funneled on down. Meanwhile, let's look at 4-1-2, right? The NOMADS. They didn't win that match like I predicted in the last one. A lot of eyes were on them, and that Extreme Slayers push didn't end up happening. But they got some points on the board, right? We're starting to see them finish in the top 5 more frequently than not. I mean, honestly, if I had to give a most improved award, I think I'd give it to 4-1-2.
For this week? Or for the later half of last week? Extending into this week? For sure, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when their improvement started. And it's been a steady climb up. Even that Sanhok game last game was great. They made it top 3, right, I believe? So, yeah. 4-1-2 NOMADS. That was not a, as Cameron would say, flash in the pan. They've been, you know, stirring that pan, and they've been cooking, and they still have not stopped. So let's see if we can see some more out of them as, free point.
Woo!
Cook that one. Get that point. Oh, so close.
That's tough.
That revive is going to go through. Yeah.
Big props,
Good shots, though.
Yeah, that was nice.
Great shots.
Not an easy knock to get, so especially with a red dot from that range. So beautifully done. That's going to definitely hype him up. You know, it's always when you hit shots like that, you kind of start feeling like you're in the zone. You know what I'm saying? You're like, we got this. Oh, K19. Ugh. Not going to be in the zone here in this game as they are out in 15th place. That's tough. K19, BOPE, gone. 14 teams remaining. And let's see how this is going to turn out as Canadian Eagles, getting picked apart, and they are gone just like that.
Yeah. Canadian Eagles out. Skills of Mine. They won the fight, but with only 2 in that position, oh, that's going to be tough. And we are going to head into the next circle shift soon. And the one thing that I want to mention, but at the same time I don't, which is in Hyper, their center zone. Kindness just... What is Kindness doing in the elimination feed? What is that?
What?
That was Kindness... What was that?
Puppeteers.
Kindness's name popped up like 7 times in a row.
Maybe interesting. Could be just a little bit of shenanigans. Take a look at 24K, getting a nice shot there onto Ace of Spades. Beautifully done. And now in 39 seconds, the question is going to be ensued of which team's going to have the most eliminations. YKG, they did lose Chico. They are stuck in the blue zone here, which is pretty tough. Now, let's see this. I want to see if this works. Put them in the vehicle. You can.
There we go. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you can put knock players in the vehicle and they get 24K to safety. That's a huge mechanic. I think that's going to change so much in competitive PUBG Mobile.
Yeah, and I don't think enough players are utilizing it because I still see teammates, right, drive up to their knock team and picking up the revive. And it's just a nade magnet, right? Passionfruit here, finishing this up. Passionfruit on an absolute tear. Still 4-0, looking in firm control of this fight. 9 eliminations, gonna make that 10, and then they're gonna make that 11. They're gonna take it all to the bank. Here we go.
Make it a baker's dozen.
Yep.
Make it a dozen, just like that. Big Nate with 4, Huacho with 3. The curse is broken, all right? I'll tell you what, which team will have the most eliminations? It's all Passionfruit, baby.
Yeah. It's looking like a Passionfruit game. Get maybe up to 20, maybe. We'll see. I mean, this next rotation, all they really got to do, they're going to clear out their eastern side because they've been fighting everyone there, and it's Speedfire. Not the most resilient team. So Passionfruit really do have their work cut out for them right now.
This is the game, though.
Very soon.
This is it. This is it. 12 eliminations. This could be the turn. Could be the turn for them. Let's see how they finish out here. So you're going to see YKG take... okay, they're going to go to that bowl right there. Fears going to get that finish there. Onto Lu Hong. And let's see how he handles the rest of the lobby. And Hyper. Mike just was a player on that rotation, but he does get away. Wow, I'm surprised.
There's a lot of little dips. And he was using every dip as like cover as he was driving back, so very well done. And Hyper, hold that! Execute coming straight in. YKG getting knocked right now.
Wow!
YKG down to 2. Is this a push play? Do they go for it?
Here comes Joey! Dun, dun, dun. Oh, the vehicle exploded. He decides to take the tank first. That should be within nade range. That's in Molly range. Yep. Here comes the util.
Nades.
Yeah, he's going to throw everything. He's going to throw it all. Molly comes back in return. Trick goes down. Fate's on fire. And down goes Execute.
There we go. Now, that...
And he's gone.
I would
and he
say
waddled
is
away.
worth.
Waddle.
Yeah, Joey going right back to his teammate. He knows he doesn't need a beat there. And, that's their only vehicle, too. So he's definitely going to go back for his teammate. As next circle shift is about to pop out. They are most likely going to have to rotate once again. So this is the YKG we're used to seeing, right? They lose a player, but they'll trade it for like 3+ points. So let's see how much more they can do with 2. Passionfruit on the north side. Still just taking fights left and right. Can they win this one? It's down to Juancho in a 1v2, I think.
We got one! Juancho! Last player up! It's not. Actually, no, it's Nate. Nate's so far away, though. He's not going to be able to get... Okay, he does have a heal, but Fetty's going to go for the res. Nate's trying to take these crazy pop shots. I think his whole team's about to get sacrificed, and he realizes it.
Yeah, he doesn't have a vehicle
if he was there, this would have been an easy finish. But now the entire team of Lotus is going to get up. That's what happens, Sometimes you take those splits, you're forced to. Nice shots on us. Nice shots. Nate almost getting taken out there. Yeah, and those shots hurt as well. And with stage 5 coming on up, this Papa Blue's gonna put some punishment on there. But 13 eliminations, I think, is something to definitely be proud of on the side of PASSIONFRUIT.
Yeah. Some people might say Nate should have been with the team, but honestly, I think it's a synergy thing. Juancho could have played a little bit more back, a little more passive to bait in the line of sight for Nate. Now Nate's still going to put in the work. He's still going to win this 1v3 potentially. Gets the second one. Oh, I thought he was going to get that. The hip fire. Not being nice to him there.
It was a good hip fire. If those bullets just happened to go and hit,
it looked like
he would have got the turn. Yeah, but it just
hit.
wasn't fast enough. So Lotus, right? Nice heads up play to get that extra elimination. But with their position, good luck trying to get in this next circle, because now you got one of the most dominant players in this entire region. If not, no, I'm sorry, the most dominant player in this entire region. Kindness, the long-range legend, just staring at you.
Oh, and look at Hyper. Knowing Koi is absolutely safe to swing in this off angle to just pick up the points now rather than later. Usually we see Hyper all sit at the compound and just wait it out, but now they're being more aggressive and they're doing it correctly. They're not risking Koi. Or are they?
Yeah.
Nah, it's Oh, no, they are risking Koi here.
He's got to go back. Oh, no, he needs to get in the vehicle. Yeah, drive back. Reverse. Yeah, because if he drove forward, yeah, he had no choice. If he drove forward, he was knocked no matter what, so. Yeah, I mean, you do those off angles.
It looks like the curse is on for me. It's just working on Hyper now.
Oh, no. Well, YKG's happy about that. YKG's like, yeah, Zute, go.
Yeah,
Joey was 6.
That's kind of big. Now that Hyper is down to 3, YKG might feel comfortable crashing that compound if they're not in zone, and the compound's in zone, right? So 2v3 way more doable.
We all picked PASSIONFRUIT. YKG's got 10 eliminations, though. You know what I'm saying? YKG's got a lot of eliminations. They got 2 players still up. They can make it happen here. They can make it happen. So let's see if they are able to, as we look at the live rankings. YKG pushing themselves to 16th place. Just like that. Let's go. Not last. Hashtag not last. See where the next zone goes. Where's it going? All right. Right on to MEZEXIS. And 412 get a little blessing. Excuse gets a little blessing as well. And Hyper, ooh, I think that's going to be a tough spot. I think they're going to be in the wide open as they push out.
Yeah, I think Hyper, they're probably going to take Fetty's position, because the north side is completely clear. They don't have to worry about the northern side whatsoever. That's a close push for them. There is some hard cover right there where Fetty is. And Hyper should be good for this. Kindness, of course, just trying to lock down YKG. Let's see these shots. He don't miss, right? Probably going to take 20 bullets to get the knock. The spray?
Just a laser beam. Look at that spray. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, Joey heard those bullets whiz by. He's like, that's in Hyper. That's in Hyper. Yep. That's not just in
they
Hyper.
don't have a vehicle.
They had a buggy.
YKG doesn't have a working vehicle.
I thought that buggy was still alive, but I guess it was exploded.
Yeah,
that's tough. Yeah, no working vehicles. Maybe they just didn't want to risk it, because even that drive is pretty risky, to be honest.
They're using the smokes instead. Looks like Hyper trying to do the same here now. Trying to make it towards Fetty. Smoking off their sight lines. Or not smoking off their sight lines, just trying to use the smokes to run in up. I think he's just trying to get close enough for a nade. And then they're going to take the vehicle to the shack. Yep. Now they're going to take that vehicle to the shack after he gets the easy knock. No, close.
Nice return made there for Fetty. Fetty, getting shot from the back, too. This is the worst situation. He's trying to get a cheeky nade off, trying to see if he can get lucky, catch a couple players. Yeah, he thinks that a player's behind that tree. That's actually not a bad Molotov, to be honest. It definitely disrupted
this one
Hyper for a second. Yeah, this nade should be good. Let's see if he just nailed it. Oh, if you hit him a little bit. Oof.
Fetty eats nades for breakfast.
Oh, that's it. That's it. 4-3, baby. That is how you do it.
Breakfast, lunch, not dinner, though. That third nade was dinner. He 100%. Got cooked.
Let's see who's going to get cooked at the end of this match here. Okay, speed fire. Speed fire. I want to see something from you. I want to see something. Oh, nice shot in return. Okay, I thought we were going to see him go down, but Cesar does catch Chronix. And now they're starting to focus on every area. Oh, Arevalo ate that nade. And
Yeah.
some good suppressive. I like those smokes, especially if those smokes were on the side of Speedfire. Those are great smokes. It completely eliminated their sight lines and allowed them to be able to get those nades off.
Yeah. But Excuse does have an interesting split here. They got a 2-2 going on here. Two of the players at the shack could kind of maybe support the other two, at least against Speedfire. We'll see where the next circle goes. As in Hyper, yeah, they do make it in with the 3 players. Imagine if Koi didn't go down. If Koi didn't go for that off angle to try and nab up those points. And Hyper could be doing so much more. But with 3, they could still easily take this as we head into the next circle shift right here. East, west, center up. Which way is it going to go, Jukes?
YKG needs it, and they don't get it. So why? You just see Joey just stopped, and she's like, "Well, boys, it's been fun, because getting into this next zone ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Maybe if he tried to run back into the water and swim, but he ain't gonna make it there. So that's it for YKG, most likely, right? But let's see if they can try and catch one of the players from Hyper. Maybe even Kindness on top of that roof, because Kindness gets knocked there. He is not getting picked up.
No, but it's Kindness.
It is Kindness. That is a factor.
You peek at Kindness, and Kindness peeks at you. He wins that 99% of the time.
Oh, and look
He
at
is
the vision
using a UMP
has.
though.
Crow with a nice knock there on a free point. Free point. Liam just a little bit too spread out. I don't think he's gonna be able to get that res off. And oh, look at that!
Kindness. That was Kindness
Unbelievable.
from distance.
Look how much control these guys have. Kindness. Oh, does get popped out. So hey, if you're gonna take them out, that's the time to do it. They do have this tank. Oh yeah, but they have the shack, so they're possibly gonna make it to that shack, but I don't think that shack's even in the zone. So yeah, I mean YKG's trying to make a miracle run, and they're taking advantage of these all these fights going on here. Great utilization of smokes. The fact they even made it this far is huge. Do they have any more smokes though? They need them. Oh, never mind.
No, I think they're gonna be done for here. And Hyper with the nades coming in.
Sure.
They're not in zone. That should be the only thing in Hyper's looking at right now, because that's the only team not in the zone. Here we go.
Oh yeah, nice shots there. Oh, great shots there from Joey. Oh, okay. It was cool. It was cool to watch. You know what I'm saying? Saw a little sign of life there. YKG putting up a big 11 eliminations. That's pretty hyped to see. But I'll tell you what, man. You know, it's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back within Hyper. And Hyper gonna put some crazy points on the board this game.
Definitely. So I'm just glad to see YKG showing some signs of life, right, coming into today. So that's a great one. And it's like the YKG we're used to seeing. They're able to fight. They might lose a player here and there, but they're trading it for like 3+ points for each player. So it looks great. Speedfire still with 4-0 eliminations. Speedfire definitely taking their time playing the slow, which I don't mind if they, execute it all the way through. They can't just play too fast now and make a slip up. So we'll see how they do as they push towards Excuse.
Uh-oh, maybe a run over coming up. Oh, he tried to go for it, but missed. Maybe he was just rapping, didn't know a player was there. But we're seeing trades come out back and forth on this side of the map, and Hyper is just licking their chops because they're saying, you know what, this is third-party time most likely, and yep, here they come. Oh, a beautiful nade from Chronix. Matt blowing up the vehicle. A smart idea here because he's going to need all the real estate he can get. Oh, nice nade, too.
Good.
It looks real good. Just too short.
Needs to jump toss that one.
Oh, Kai!
There it is.
Said that. Oh, you know what? That was a range check. We got it dialed in, and goodbye. Top 3 situation. Here we go. Between Excuse, MEZEXIS, and Hyper.
And Hyper really pinned in by both teams right now. Yeah, and Hyper can't do much here. He's wide in the open. Excuse still playing it very disciplined, not going for a full-out spray. Gonna take a quick peek back. Last player of Hyper should be going down any second now. Yeah, you can see him trying to suppress as much as he can because he's just in the open. Okay, you got make sure your teammate doesn't get thirsted. Okay.
Play carefully. And he is gone. So that was Hyper. Nothing they can do in that situation. But still a dominant performance regardless. Meanwhile, MEZEXIS right? Trying to take out Excuse. That's one of their players down. Excuse is actually in a really bad spot here. This should be
Yeah,
MEZEXIS'
they're pinned
game.
in.
Yeah. Here comes Papa Blue, ready to punish him. And goodbye. Are they going to deny the point?
They're gonna try.
Nope.
But it's a little bit too late. Yep.
Yep.
A little bit too late. The N-Hyper player just slowing them down way too much. If it wasn't for N-Hyper, I think we could have seen Excuse definitely, you know, separate out a little bit quicker and had a chance in that 4v3. But MEZEXIS get the chicken dinner. MEZEXIS showing up in this one. 1,022 damage received and only 719 done. Only 3 eliminations. Not the biggest of chicken dinners, but a win is a win.
Yeah, not able to get too many of those confirmations, but you, like you said, take those points as much as you can get. You know that's going to definitely hype them up. MEZEXIS, one of those teams, right, that's just kind of been hot and cold this tournament. But look at this match report, right? Nate
Ooh,
with the highest damage, and Papa Joey with 6 eliminations. I'll tell you what, nothing gets a fire started like a good, solid elimination game. And I'll tell you what, 6, that could be it. That could be the spark that YKG needed to.
You literally called it, I think, at the beginning of this match. You were like, we need Joey to spark things up. And that is exactly what Joey did this game, Jukes.
There we go, baby. Joey finally started Joey. Let's take it over to the highlights, and we'll be right back.
Yay! MEZEXIS. No, wait, hold on. Yeah, YKG is back? Question mark? I mean,
Maybe.
I like the play. I like what they were able to do, too. If you can pull out the match ranking for us, Cam. I mean, yeah, at one point, we're like, okay, what are they trying to go for here? And what was it that you told me? And exactly it happened?
I said they were waiting when it was just the two of them up on the left, the west side of that beach. All they had was a small little bit of sand to hide from N-Hyper. The question was like, are they going to just be denying points? Not at all. They were going to wait for N-Hyper. There was always the possibility that N-Hyper would swing down onto their angle, but in either case, they still had the timing. They knew that they needed N-Hyper to move first, and they capitalized on that, even getting Kindness down. And then that final 2 versus 2 with the blue right at their back at the shack, they made it very close in the shoot-off with N-Hyper. So there was a reality that they could have gone forward even further in this match. So the reason why we're not fully saying that YKG are back 100% is because this was just one match. But wow, what a 180-degree turnaround from this week so far.
It was, and I'm kind of with what Jukes was saying too. They needed Joey to step it up, and that was the player as we're able to see, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna be able to see in a bit too. He was able to step it up in a big way. By the way, N-Hyper, something that we do need to mention, as we saw the match report there earlier with the casters. FS, they ended up putting a new player. Good to see that they're kind of keeping him warm. I doubt we'll end up seeing him in finals, but it'll be kind of fun if we do. And then PASSIONFRUIT Esports, 13 eliminations. Like, this is a team, but this is a team that I get so hyped about when I see this kind of elims. But then we go to the placement points, and it's just the same story over and over again.
What do you, okay.
There's no placement points.
But if you can get 13 elims every single time, that is not far behind where N-Hyper are peaking at right now with their points per game this week. So, like, getting 14 points, they're tied with YKG and N-Hyper in overall points from this entire match. Also, I just realized MEZEXIS won the round, and they're in 4th place overall. That's how insane these 3 teams did in the fragging department. They left nothing on the battlefield for anyone else to pick up. But that's kind of what you expect from a circle that continues to shift onto the beach like this, where it's just one team that just bulldozes from edge to edge into edge. Let's see what the second half of this match ranking is, though. But I can guarantee it's going to be a lot of zeros.
Yeah, so what I heard right from you is you want PASSIONFRUIT Esports to just keep on getting 13 elims or more, and we'll be happy.
Yeah,
even if
right.
they end up getting 1 placement point. Yeah, I'm
right.
with you on
that's
that.
what worked for them. That's what worked for them phase 2. I said in the very beginning, yeah, okay, 13 is unlikely, right? But like high elimination rounds, right? What I said in the very beginning of this week is that part of me, like, you know, on paper, they should cool it down a little bit, not go so aggressive in the mid game. But when you're getting that many points, like, you know, it just tells me that that's just their style. That's how they play. And it worked here. So if that can continue working once again, if we see phase 2 PASSIONFRUIT and not phase 3 day 1 and 2 PASSIONFRUIT Esports, then we're cooking, right? Like, getting those final podium finishes can be important, but you got to like get there in the first place. And how they seem to get there into a podium is just get a lot of elims.
Yeah, I'm usually hyped out about elims, but I need to start seeing more placement points. Sorry, PASSIONFRUIT. I just need to start seeing those placement points because you're not going to end up being within the top 5 if you do when you do end up making it to finals. And if you end up going to Americas, I mean, we know what the Brazilian teams are going to be doing. So please,
that's an entirely different conversation. I'm talking in terms of North America, in terms purely in North America.
Now, a team that we are kind of a little bit hyped about seeing them perform there in the last one, considering that there was only 2, and even whenever YKG was fighting in Hyper there, by the way, I feel like if it wouldn't have been for YKG, Joey, and their positioning and the way that they decided to take on that fight, I feel like in Hyper would have actually ended up winning that match. But good to see YKG back, at least with some points here. I mentioned it earlier, Joey with those 6 eliminations.
Yep. Part of me wants to say, I don't like that this looks like just a one-man army with the numbers that Joey is putting out. But when you need something to start that fire, this is sort of like numbers that we're not unused to seeing from YKG back in spring, with Joey leading the way and then 24K being there on the follow-up. So the expectation now is that this is the starting position for the rest of the day and hopefully the rest of the weekend. Throughout the rest of the matches, Chico and Fears should also be inputting more with damage and eliminations. And also, not to mention that this circle, this playing field, going towards the beach and all that, is very weird to play around. So also want to take that into consideration. But, you know, the point is that this is a really strong starting point, even if Joey is having to sort of like drag the rest of his team into the game, and like almost like you got to push a friend in the pool who's scared of the cold water, right? Like, he's just gotta start the game happening.
Yeah, and I mean, even though it is usually a bad circle to play with and a bad area to play with, I mean, this team kind of knows it like the back of their hand, since they do end up landing on Primors too. So I feel like that's ultimately what ended up helping them out too. Even though they just had 2 players, they were able to rotate it out so well. And as I was talking about PASSIONFRUIT Esports, you're hyping them up in regards to LMs. I want to see more placement points. Let's look at the player stats, because I felt like Nate was almost able to clutch up there. He was a little bit far away from his team ultimately, where he wasn't able to back him up in the fight, in the last fight. But overall, this stats, I mean, I'm not mad at him.
Yeah, I actually don't think Nate being so far away from the team was like a throw in any sense. I think when you're on the edge like that across the hills, you want to have a little bit of a split, a little bit of a separation for Nate to give some covering fire on some opposing angles. It's just the rest of his team got eliminated so quickly that it just, you know, the execution was not there for PASSIONFRUIT in this. But they had so many eliminations up to this point, so much damage coming on in. Nate is still a powerhouse player.
Yeah, and all it takes is just Nate to have one highlight play, which we saw it in spring finals. It almost happened here in that last match. I was really hoping he would clutch it up. And then the rest of the team is going to start turning it up, which they already have. So maybe we'll end up seeing another 10+ ilms out of them. Who knows? Who knows? They are going to play in the next match. So we'll have to wait and see. It is going to be Miramar, so Hot Juke Sute. Let's see what Miramar's got for us.
Woo! Let's go, baby. We are getting chilly over here, Sute. We're getting chilly, baby, because we got some big action for you guys. I'll tell you what. You know what, Cameron? I will say this. I do think that it was a throw for Nate to be on the off angle. And I will say, inside scoop, I do have an inside scoop on the team, and they think that it was as well. So hopefully they can get that fixed. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I will say this. Sometimes it's better to have those situations happen here than in a bigger tournament, right? You know, sometimes you have to learn those lessons the hard way. And I think that was one of those situations. I do agree in the fact that having some of that separation does work in certain spots. When you're in a heads-up fight, though, having everybody there to get that confirmation is critical, especially if you can afford it, you know? So hopefully that they learn that lesson. They have those conversations. They learn from it and are able to push forward, because we've said it time and time again, this roster has what it takes, right? It's just that they're able to work together, and hopefully we can see that finally happen here at the end of the day.
Yeah, and there's so many ways to play that situation too, right? If you send all 4 in that 4v4 fight, they don't have much room to work with. One nade could take down 2 players. So you want a little bit of separation. So with it being a little bit separated, if you're winning the fight and you're down to that 1v1 in the front lines with Nate all the way in the back, you could also argue you shouldn't, hard push that. You should play back enough to pressure within the support lines or supporting sight lines of Nate. So all that boils down to is team synergy, right? Which one are you gonna do? And you gotta execute it correctly all the way through. G1.
Oh, the drop!
The quick drop shot.
Oh,
It almost worked.
You missed.
It
You
almost
missed.
worked. It was a nice try. It was a nice try. Wall Street Bets will get the first one.
Let's take a look here. Yeah, that's tough. You always wish that you could hit those, but sometimes it just don't happen. Happens to the best of us. But yeah, you know what? You're right. I mean, having separation is huge, but the place you put yourself is so important too, right? Are you putting yourself in a position to where you can cover? You're not putting yourself at too much risk. Is it really worth it? Are you going to be able to support your team in case they get pushed? So many questions out indeed. But you know what? Like I said, hopefully they learn from it and move on. One player in particular that I always like to look at least in this lobby, is Koi when it comes to off angles. Because his decisions on where to place himself, for the most part, I mean, sometimes they're very risky. We saw in the last match, right?
Yeah.
It was a great angle. Like, I think that it was a solid one. He just got caught from YKG. So I think it comes down to, like, where he could have positioned his vehicle. He could have pushed up a little bit further, too. Instead
I think
he kind of...
some pre-smokes would have been good too.
Yeah,
The second he
yeah.
arrived there, dropped down some smokes on his back.
For sure. So there's always questions like that kind of go into the air. But, for the most part, where he places himself is very, very critical for the rest of the squad. So hopefully we could see some teams make those decisions and grow as time goes on. But speaking of grow, this zone all the way to the southwest.
Dino Park?
Please.
Could be Dino Park. Dino Park is center, and we all know Vikendi loves to center up, so maybe we'll center on to Dino Park as this fight's still continuing. Skills of Mine versus the Wall Street Bets team. Wasted in a 1v2 situation, trying to get 2. Is Wasted going to play slow, wait for backup? It looks like he is going to try and stall a little bit.
Oh, gets caught.
Ooh, the DBS thinks differently. Wasted. Gets wasted. Skills of Mine now down to only 2 players. Down to 1 now.
Trixie.
It's all on to Trixie Boy.
Trixie has been... I mean, it's always Trixie, right? It is always Trixie up for Skills of Mine. What do you feel about that, Zoo? I kind of posed this question before, and now that we've had a lot more games, a lot more data to go by it, I want to pose a question for you. Oh, you see a little bit of a... Uh-oh. Hey, he's doing some... Making sure his legs are nice and ready for the rest of the match. Love to see that there. So here's my question. When it comes to Trixie Boy, Sue, we talk about in North America, their biggest downfall is the fact that after every tournament, teams split up, right? And they swap players. They don't stick together. They don't weigh the storm. They don't weather the storm. They don't go and put in that work. They don't talk to each other. They just kind of give up, and then you see players get swapped, right? Now, for a team like Skills of Mind and a player who's been very prominent like Trixie Boy, if you were just on the outside looking in, you don't know what's in, you don't talk to the players, you don't know what the intercommunication is, what do you think is best? Do you think it's best for them to stick together or go for it? But I'll answer that question in a second, because here comes K19 against SLR.
Yeah, K19's going for it. Driving straight in 4v4 against SLR. I think it's a knock for knock. Yeah, it is a knock for knock. So both sides,
nice
with
swap.
only 3 up, that's a huge one. But a
zone.
little overheat. The overheat. Too much. K19 down to just 1 now. It's all down to Tokido. What can he do
thirsty.
here?
He was so thirsty.
HH is screaming, "I'm safe. Revive me." He gets thirsty. You're not safe.
But now
Tokido's got to clutch this up now.
Now Tokido's enraged. Enraged.
Third party.
Oh, goodness gracious. Goodbye. BULUC CHABTAN saying, see ya, we'll take that all day long. And then now here comes the push onto SLR. I like the way BULUC CHABTAN is getting aggressive here. Use that util, just apply that pressure, try to find some angles. You're going to catch a knock most likely. Oh, never mind. Long catches a nice knock in return. And, he gets caught.
Oh.
And both at the same time. That's it.
That's a nade for a nade for a nade for a nade. Now SLR
6
down
XTBS.
to just one. Oh yeah.
6
Scoping
XTBS. Oh, he takes it
that.
off.
Oh, he takes. Yeah.
Oh, he's getting the CQC now. XCZ getting some nice little pepper shots off, but now they know exactly where he is. Little 180, trying to make some plays. XCZ, is he gaming? Let's see.
He's getting damage.
He's gaming. Oh. Poppy
Third
sour.
party again? I see
Fourth
another
party?
player. I see a yellow. Who's that yellow
MEZEXIS?
person? Inactive?
Do it.
Oh, and
too
inactive's
far.
just curious. He's just curious.
No, I think he wants a piece, but he doesn't have a vehicle, and the rest of the team's too far away, so it's just impossible. So I think he's just looking for some intel. You know what I'm saying? Some information. As we
He's
take a
like,
look. Yep. There's a team there. You know what I'm saying? There's a team there. So very,
They definitely
very
know
nice.
which team it is. The important thing is, as PASSIONFRUIT, yeah, they should be good. They should be running back here. Zuko does go down. But I was just gonna say the important thing is that compound where that fight was happening is pretty center, and they know who it is. So if they keep track of the elimination feed, they'll know when they can drive over to third party, depending on what's happening in the feed, if they want that compound later on.
Yeah, another big storyline too is of course BULUC CHABTAN with 5 eliminations. That's huge because they're trying to catch K19 for 16th place. So they're trying their best to make it to that top 16, make it on over to the finals. And I'll tell you what, 5 eliminations, the whole team up and dead center in this circle. Ooh, that's pretty good. Meanwhile, Butterfly Effect getting into it with Extreme Slayers. Extreme Slayers, man, we saw a flash in the pan, right, from them. Crazy performance, and then just kind of a little bit of a taper off, and now Remix getting caught, thirsted, Cloudy coming around. What happened? Extreme Slayers, gone.
I guess aggressor advantage, because I think Butterfly Effect just slammed into here and took the fight.
No, I think it was the opposite. I think it was the opposite.
Really?
Yeah, I think Extreme Slayers slammed into Butterfly Effect, and they just defended it so well.
Wow. Usually Extreme Slayers win those when they're on the aggression. So that is definitely surprising to see. Extreme Slayers, they're just like off and on, but their baseline's still like decent, right? They're definitely on the higher average of sides when it comes to points gained over the course of 4 to 5 games. But it's not the Extreme Slayers that we were hoping for, because they were really gunning it hard on the first phase.
So, you know, when it comes to Extreme Slayers, they're one of those squads that I look at, and I'm like, no matter how this ends, I want to see them stick together. You know? I want to see them continue to just try things out, get better as time goes on, you know? But like I was talking about earlier, when it comes to Skills of Mind and Trixie Boy, right? What do you think is the best option for that squad?
I think that's a squad that should just split up. Like,
Oof.
I see no promise really out of that team. And if a better team comes your way and offers you a spot, I say you should definitely take it, right? Certain squads should definitely stick together, but there are definitely squads that just, yeah, it's not working out.
It's not working out. So, hey, Skills of Mind, if you're hearing this, you could take it 2 ways, right? You could use that clip, and you could use that as a boom to light a fire in you, right? Prove everybody wrong that you can get it done. You have time. There's more years. There's more splits to come, right? Or Trixie Boy, you know, with how he performed, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him get picked up by another squad, because that guy can definitely get it done. So let's see how this game ends here. And Hyper, right? Centered up in a really good position. YKG still alive here with 4 up. And they're on the north side, so it's going to be an interesting battle. I want to see a Dino Park finish, though. Come on.
I don't think it's going to go that way.
Mavatra, most likely.
Execute in a great spot. Mavatra can get very clustered in the coming few circles, but honestly, a lot of teams are already out, Jukes. The battlefield's looking, yeah, the battlefield's looking kind of dry. We might go into a very slow standstill here just because there's so much real estate still open with so many teams out.
Right, you are. So, hey, the Hot Jukes, the Hot Zoo podcast has begun, because this is stage 3 and half the lobby's gone. That is wild. I'll tell you what, why is it that Vikendi has like the hottest starts, even more than Sanhok. I don't get it.
It's because it's just such a big map that, you know, players know if they don't play fast, they're just going to have to sit and wait for like the whole game until the end game, and then they're surrounded by a bunch of teams and they can't do anything. So may as well take the matter into their own hands right early on and just go for those isolated fights. But we do see a lot of third parties too because of that reason. You always get like a handful, a couple of teams looking for those early game fights, and one fight leads to another. And that's how we get to this situation, Jukes, where half the lobby is gone by Circle 3.
Oh, wow. Baton saying, let me just try to get some sightlines here. Never mind. It's shot up there. I love the fact that here in the Icy Tundra that the vehicles leave the snow trails. I think that's so cool. Have you ever had a classic match like hunted down a player just because of their snow trails?
Yeah, it actually gives really crucial info. So, yeah, the snow trails, definitely a nice touch to the game.
I love it.
One thing, Jukes, that I'm curious about, right,
Okay.
with Execute right now. They're doing better. They're doing well. Do you think we're going to see that consistency for the rest of the day? And I'm not saying, like, they're going to, you know, be top 3, top 5 each match. I'm just saying, do you think, like, they're not going to make those Execute type style mistakes that they're known for from, like, phase 1 and phase 2?
Personally, and this is just my opinion. You want the I'm going to give you the hot take opinion, okay? Since I did my hot take earlier. Fate, I need to see Fate learn patience, okay? Period, right? I mean, I can't get away from that one Sanhok match where he went out into the wide open to a thin tree to try to finish to get a knock on a player and put himself in a completely ridiculous position that I don't think any IGL would ever think is okay, you know? Like, that one play alone just made me think, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I will say that it's easy to get caught up in that because, you know, when you're in the intense moments of things, guys, especially if you're playing at this high level, it's really easy to get something we call tunnel vision. You know, you just get so focused that you just can't get off of it. That is a 1,000% a fragger mentality. You just can't take your eyes off it. You don't even focus on the map, the circle. And to be honest with you, that is the worst thing that you can do if you're an IGL. You know what I'm saying? Like, as an IGL, you have to constantly have a step back. And you have to look at the circle. You have to look at the clock. Think about, okay, timing is coming up here. Maybe we have to leave this team alive because it'll be in our best interest to leave them alive, and so that we could third party them right afterwards, you know? You have to think as such. And so far from Fate, like, what I've seen from him is just like, oh, player move, shoot. You know what I'm saying? And until I see otherwise, I think I'm going to see this team struggle. You know what I'm saying? But it's not.
So they're still gonna make like those mistakes.
100%.
That
At least in my eyes, you know, until I see something different, where I could be like, all right, hey, you know what? They could have made the push. They could have taken out this team, but man, they made a really heads-up play. They had that trigger discipline, you know. Once that happens,
I call that the IGL syndrome, honestly, because I've been there too. When you're the IGL and you're just in the flow of making things happen, right, calling things, constantly thinking what we should do next, it sometimes puts IGLs and players in a state of mind of like, I need to make something happen because I'm not hearing my teammates saying they're going to make stuff happen. So it's like you feel like you got to make the next opening. You got to get the next lock because your teammate's not saying they'll do something. And it's really typical as a team. Like, you are supposed to be the ones kind of directing things, but you're also supposed to be patient enough to wait when you realize you can't do something, and just wait for your teammates to get the info to do something themselves.
Yeah. And you know what? The hard part about it when it comes to Execute is that this team's, you know, they've been together for quite a while as far as like majority of the players have had experience. And the amount of experience that each individual player has blows my mind. So the fact that this is still a problem, it really makes me think that it's hard set, you know? And it's kind of like a you can't teach old dogs new tricks kind of situation. But I'll tell you one thing. And Hyper's changed my mind on that a little bit. because
Oh yeah, that's true.
because they did change, right? And so from what I've seen, they have changed. There's a reason why I didn't put them in my top 3 before this tournament, because I was like, you know what? I just can't put my faith in a team that's just gonna get my hopes up and then fail at the last second, you know? But
Yeah.
we're
And
seeing
in
different.
Hyper,
Yeah.
it took them like 2 years, 2 to 3 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, this in Hyper, like in Hyper's been changing like 1 to 2 players out each season, like every season, slowly changing this out, changing that out. But over the course of like 2 to 3 years almost, and now finally things are, you know, kicking in. So Execute's kind of on a similar path. I think Execute's kind of been in that 2 to 3 year mark just as well, you know, changing players here, there, and here. So maybe soon enough, we're going to see the Execute kind of pop off that in Hyper is going to do. But it is, who knows? It might hit, it might not. In Hyper, definitely a surprise. We didn't know that it was going to be this quick of a change out of in Hyper, but hey, they did it.
Did indeed. All right, well, let's take a look, guys, at seeing which team is going to finish in the top 3. So that is going to be interesting. I mean, right now you got MEZEXIS dead center, getting some nice shots on the BULUC CHABTAN, and BULUC CHABTAN, man, losing a player early, that's got to go. That's got to hurt them. But let's see if they're able to finish this strong, as they have that most dominant compound in the map. Meanwhile, PASSIONFRUIT gonna have to mount a defense, because here comes LOTUS Esports. PASSIONFRUIT is setting up a trap, but Zuko is moving a little bit, and he gun switched. I wonder if they heard him or saw something. Nope, yep, they saw him. They saw Nate. Nate goes and fires the trigger. That is going to let them know exactly where he is. So, Kubi knocks Joey. So it looks like Butterfly Effect is getting into it, YKG.
Yeah, seems like it. Zuko, he's got to play that position extremely well. Here's the fight. Oh, double knock, and that's Execute from distance onto the backside. And oh, Fate, they're pushing.
Here they
Trick goes
come.
down immediately.
Oh, Fate, the
And-
only one that put. I guarantee you, Fate called push, and now he's the only one there.
I mean, he had a teammate with him in his car, but he
Yeah.
got instantly knocked out of the car. And now it's just, yeah, this is exactly one of those situations where it's like, yes, you got 2 openings, you got to move quick, but how you do it needs to be correct, and just trying to do too much too fast. And the sight lines were just not safe enough to drive straight in. And now Execute find
Nice
themselves
shot.
in this dire situation.
play.
Kill switch
Oh,
having to
no.
clutch this up a little bit, and Casper, I thought Casper went with kill switch, but yeah, okay, so I asked you earlier, Jukes, are we going to see Execute make those Execute type mistakes? That is through and through, by the definition, an Execute type mistake. They have the right idea, but just mistimed, mis-executed, and
Yeah.
just not on the same page, and
I'll-
rushed. Patience, right? You said patience? That was not enough patience.
I'll tell you what, it's the hardest thing as an IGL, because you can't see behind, you don't have eyes behind your back, right? So sometimes you just call push, and you just push, right?
Yeah.
Thinking the rest of the team is with you, but you have to have awareness of where your team's position is, and you have to also have your team, you have to instill respect amongst your teammates to have them tell you, hey, no push, cancel the push, like, we're too far away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In those situations, and the IGL has to respect that call in that time, right? So it's a really, if you're a team that hasn't learned that yet, it's so hard to break, you know. But you're gonna see plays like that happen time and time again if you still have that mentality.
Yeah, and here's a nice little thing to think about for any aspiring comp players in a similar situation right there, right? When you get a double knock, it takes like maybe 4 to 5 seconds for their teammates, maybe
Hold on.
3 to 4, for them to run over for the revive, because they have to crawl somewhere safe, and then they have to touch the revive, which takes another 7. You actually have a lot of time. You don't have to rush immediately into bad sight lines. So you have more time to work with than you might think off of a double knock. And speaking about double knocks, Jukes, 2 of PASSIONFRUIT are double knocked, and this is not looking good. VALIC is the last one up, and they only have 1 point so far.
YKG's right up on top of him. Alex stuck, and he knows it. Yeah, he's trying to throw some smokes out, trying to make a play. Now Chico doesn't have the angle to see VALIC, so VALIC might just make it across here, and he does. Talked about that tunnel vision, right? Chico hard scope, didn't see VALIC run right below him, and it was like I mentioned earlier, right? That's 6x. I think the edge of the scope blocked those smokes so well, you didn't
So
even see them.
thick.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, he's still looking over there like,
Yeah, he's like,
I
wait, when
think
those
he
smokes come
crossed over."
down, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, he's thinking he's still in there and hasn't crossed over, but they have indeed crossed over. Execute taken out. We got N-Hyper on the west side looking pretty good. Kindness is knocked. I think more of them are getting knocked right now. BULUC doing what he can in the open. Goes down. Lotus will pick that one up. New circle shifting out here. Wall Street Bets get a nice circle on the top hill, but YKG is also right behind Wall Street Bets on an even higher ground. Wall Street Bets need to be a little bit careful about this one. YKG, 9 eliminations. 3 players still
Here
up.
we go. Here we
YKG
go.
back, looking like it.
I mean, that's back-to-back games. That's back-to-back games. I'll tell you what team that's still alive, though, is N-Hyper. They have 2 knocked. 1 player still up. And actually, they did get their reses off. And they are at the edge of this circle. But yeah, trying to get into this zone is highly unlikely. So they are at Hyper, I will say that. We could always see some magic happen. But yeah, this circle is a tough one for them.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in. Oh, and missing a little bit of the initial shots, but headshots immediately afterwards. And he gets the thirst. Doesn't even go down.
Wow.
Oh, and the shot's right back. Man, that is scary to witness. When a player can shoot that much for a thirst and then his teammates got his back to shoot right back at the return fire, that's N-Hyper for you.
Oh my goodness gracious. This is ridiculous. N-Hyper in this spot. I mean, even when they're so down and out, they still somehow, right, to put up a fight that makes it so difficult. They do go out there.
Yeah.
Right, so they are out there. But I mean, man, that delayed butterfly effect so much. And meanwhile, you're going to see YKG, Fierce, going to try to get that res on a Chico. Wall Street Bets, done and dusted. MEZEXIS is still alive. So let's see who's going to get that top 3 finish. YKG, the prediction might not work out as Lotus is pressing on them hard.
Yeah, 24K on the high ground. I think he has sightlines, which is why he hasn't moved yet. And, oh, he's getting lit up right now, so Lotus is aware of that position.
Ready?
He's going in close with that DBS. Oh, hold on. 24K caught 2 of Lotus. So 24K putting in work from the high ground.
Goes down! Oh,
Fierce
goodness
couldn't clutch it out.
gracious. And YKG doesn't make it to the top 3. Wow, you hate to see that. Meanwhile, we see Butterfly Effect. Oh, Cloudy. Cloudy's been clutching it up today. And he did again. 5 eliminations just on Cloudy. I'll tell you what, Cloudy is having a day.
Jason's popping off this match too. Earlier, he had the most damage done in the match so far in the live charts. So Jason and Cloudy working in tandem here. Both sides will get that reset back up. Butterfly Effect, however, get the circle. Or not Butterfly Effect, Lotus Esports gets the zone with 3 players. It's not looking good for either of these 2 teams stuck over here on the east side.
No, it is not. This should be a Lotus win. Gara getting... Oh, and he has an AUG as well. This should be easy work. I want to see them get way more aggressive. They should be applying nothing but pressure, and that's exactly what they're doing. Great shots there onto Jason. Taking him out. Time to turn things up a notch. Cloudy finds a crate. What weapon does he get? That's my question. I don't think it matters, though. Lotus, man, they have all the sightlines in the world.
Yep. Shooting fish in a barrel right now for Lotus. And they don't know Cloudy made it across. So if one of Lotus gets knocked, something interesting could happen. But oh yeah.
Crow got... Oh, that was so lucky for Cloudy. Yeah. Oh, he stole it.
Cloudy got there first. So now Cloudy's gatekeeping along with the rest of Lotus. It's going to come down to 1v3. Oh, maybe not even. Oh, still 1v3. But Baton, can he make the magic work? He does not. It is Lotus Esports with 12 elims.
Wow.
They've got the zone, but they fought their way in every step of the way. 12 elimination chicken dinner. Huge game for Lotus Esports.
Massive one. Massive one. Some big points. Got to give shout-outs to the man Cloudy as well. We saw him get some good, solid eliminations in an earlier match and getting some more at this time. Lotus, 7 eliminations, 1,100 damage total. Solid conversion rate. I always love to see Vikendi. So I think it's probably one of my favorite maps to watch right now because it's just so hot from start to finish.
Yeah, we might have got a little bit of a slow period, but that brushed off real quick. And yep, Cloudy and Jason from Butterfly Effect. They may have not gotten the win, but they definitely put up the numbers. So good job for those two. And man, that was an action-packed game, just like how we like it in Vikendi.
Butterfly Effect turning it up. We also saw BULUC CHABTAN getting some points here. This top 16 is a race, guys. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back after these highlights.
Lotus Esports finally giving us that chicken dinner. We've been wondering where they have been, even though they have, been very consistent in regards to being towards the top 8 at least. But we finally get that chicken dinner out of them. Let's pull up the match ranking because there is another team that I feel like I gotta give them even more props because this is the team we were talking about at the beginning of the day too. They needed to push up. Butterfly Effect, 12 eliminations.
Yep.
Hold on. Let me clean my eyes. Am I seeing that right, Cam?
Yeah, 12 eliminations for the Butterfly Effect Esports. They started off pretty early, I think, in this match. There was a lot of fighting really early on in this match, partly because everyone just knew once it went towards that west side, they knew that Central City was going to be an important part of this map. But yeah, 12 elims for Butterfly Effect, but also 11 for YKG. Both of these teams not only trying to climb out of the bottom of this phase's overall ranking, but like Butterfly Effect, they just need to get higher in general. They're trying to face up against K19, who are currently holding down that 16th place in the overall standings to make it to the finals next weekend. And with K19 having gone out early again, this is looking really, really good for a Butterfly Effect on that climb.
It is. And I mean, BULUC CHABTAN is another team we got to mention as we heard Hot Jukes talking about them. Even though they didn't get any placement points, 5 points. This is a team that's trying to catch up K19 as well. That's good for them. I want to go to that second page because I want to see how some of the other teams did. Earlier, we were talking about PASSIONFRUIT Esports. Can they continue to get those elements? Can they continue to maybe start getting some placement points? You know what? I can't even judge you, PASSIONFRUIT Esports, because you actually kind of got the same points, placement points, and elimination points. Dang it.
See, this is what I'm saying. They got placement points, no elimination points to back it up. Just go all in on the list. No, for PASSIONFRUIT specifically, it's because they tend to be better when they're the aggressor team. But in the mid game, with the way that the circles actually favored them on that coastline, they didn't have a lot of opportunities to be aggressive. And when they did, they were pushing up against Wall Street Bets in that one tower. And it was also, I believe YKG at that point already had that angle to the north on the high ground, so it was actually a really bad spot by the time they did find an opportunity to fight and push. So I'm not going to put this as a mark against them necessarily, but they're not going to be back in the way that YKG are in terms of what we're sort of looking at for how can these teams that are struggling grow today.
Yeah, and by the way, execute with those 3 points. I feel like we had to mention it too. The casters were talking about it. Fate decided to just fully send it. His team was a little bit delayed for that, and it didn't send it with him. Fate got knocked, and then it kind of started spiraling down for Execute as they only end up with 3 points there. But overall, you know what? I'm happy with what I'm seeing there out of YKG. I'm happy with what I'm seeing out of some of the other teams. By the way, NHyper continuing with FS for the roster. I think if I'm not mistaken, they end up replacing Rin. Probably we might end up seeing that for the rest of the week, which will be interesting because, I mean, they have that gap, right? They have that time frame to work with, the points to work with too.
Yeah, because for them, it's about the placement points. They're already going to the finals next weekend anyway. It's mathematically impossible. And for them, it's about the placement points, but even that, they have such a lead on it that, you know, maybe if we head into Sunday and like NOMADS are right up neck and neck with them, then they might bring Rin back. You know, like I could see that as being the purpose of this swap around right now. But like talking about people contesting their spot at the top, Extreme Slayers, really quiet round. So as far as like, they actually, this is the first time I think I've seen them this week where they got 0 points today. So as far as that, like,
you're kind of talking about it, Cam. Let's actually pull up the overall so we can see how that's currently working out. Because
Okay.
I'm pretty sure with the performance Stream Slayers is currently having, I mean, they're just gonna
Yep,
yeah,
there it
they're
is.
7th place. Wow.
Yeah, overtaken by MEZEXIS, overtaken by LOTUS and Wall Street Bets. Like, it's the slow slide for them that's sort of the worrying factor. I know an assassin is in their logo. They like to go, like, not be noticed. And I think we've commented on it a few times that we sort of don't really notice them a lot, and they just happen to be in the top 4. They're missing that, like, X factor that's really going to bring them back over the top when you have multiple teams that are firing, like, a lot faster now that we're at the end of the line of this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, for a team that came into today with 3rd place, 64 points, they haven't really been able to do much. And I feel like we do need to see some kind of reaction for them. I'm not going to write them off because we've seen them out of Stream Slayers in the past too. But I feel like the storyline in regards to it, does it just come down to Remix being able to pop off and Remix being able to kind of put everybody on his back and carry the squad to where they have been in the past? It's starting to get a little bit stronger for me. Lotus Esports, by the way, the reason why I was mentioning them earlier too is because this team, I feel like they are that quiet team. They have gotten chicken dinners in the past, but I kind of want to continue to see them here starting to get chicken dinners. I want to start continue to see an improvement in the way they're playing, an improvement in the way they're finishing matches, especially with the team that's been so consistent there within the top 8. I feel like if they can get those chicken dinners down, they might be able to actually push towards the top 4, top 5 when we go to the finals.
Okay, look at this. On the second page, YKG have springboarded themselves up with the past 2 rounds into 9th place. That's a really good send of numbers up that way. Butterfly Effect, even with the previous game, still in 16th here on this week. But again, for them, it's not about the weekly ranking. For them, it's about the overall league ranking.
Yeah, and if we are going to be looking at the weekly ranking, they want to stay above K19, and they want to start building a gap with K19. So I'm pretty sure we're going to start seeing that here at some point. By the way, I wanted to go back a little bit more towards Lotus Esports. I want to continue to see it, Lotus. I want to continue to see it. You guys are going to be playing this next match. So let's see if you actually can get maybe back-to-back. That'll be amazing.
And welcome back. We're back on to Erangel and the back-to-back for Lotus. That's a tough task, but they did have a big one, and they really played it well all the way to the end, getting that chicken dinner. So we'll see what they can do this match. Playing path looking very nice. Very nice for all the teams involved. And it should be a clean start. I don't think we'll see anything too crazy with a playing path like this, unless we get a military circle or something wild like that, Jukes.
Looks clean. Looks clean. I mean, dead down the center. You don't have to worry about nothing for the most part when it comes to this playing path. So I am looking at the top, though. We are starting to see Excuse and Execute kind of lead in similar paths. So I wonder if they're both like looking for vehicles. Well, it looks like they decided to do a split. So Execute is going to lean off a little bit more towards that shooting range area. Meanwhile, Excuse is going to rock that already split. Yeah,
they're just going for the vehicles for their tried and true 4th George. They love that spot. And I think they haven't changed it since I was on Execute. That's where we started off on Erangel. We just played North George pool and then played the rest of the match from the edge fighting in anyway. And that circle's definitely going to help out with that North George. I'll tell you what, huge. It's not a military circle. That's the tough one for Execute. But a northwestern zone, again, we've had this at least once now. We saw last time in Hyper, 68 damage received, 2,000 plus done in a circle like this when it kept going north. So I'm sure some teams took some notes of that split that in Hyper was pulling off there.
This could get interesting. Okay, Zarky is still in play. There's a chance. There's a chance. We could get that legendary Zarky finish. I've only seen a handful in my entire PUBG Mobile career. So to see one here now would be exciting. But most likely not going to happen. Meanwhile, let's take a look at Skur with the pump shotgun. Catches Robert and gets the finish. So, man, Extreme Slayers just having a rough go at it here today.
Yeah, Extreme Slayers. They're just hot and cold. They haven't had a consistent trend upwards whatsoever. Unlike 412, right? 412, they start off real slow. At the end of second week, they really built it up, and then they've been carrying the momentum quite well into phase number 3 here. But man, Extreme Slayers, I don't know how to feel about them at this stage. It's like I know they got potential. I know they're good. I know they're still doing decent, but it just seems kind of flat almost.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely see like a difference in their play style. I think, you know, I think that they're a team that loses confidence really quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to their pushes, like they start hesitating after a couple losses, and it's hard to see them really start things back up. But once they do, they're good to go. And I think Extreme Slayers have what it takes. It's just kind of just tuning, just fine tuning some of those things. So hopefully we could see them do that. But, you know, I don't know. Like I said, it's a little bit weird because I feel like some of their players just have off days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At the same time, because it's hard to really quantify when you just look at their play style. Because, you know, they're making those pushes, they're doing those things that they've done before, but it just doesn't look as, I don't know, synergetic as we've seen before.
Yeah. It's just like there's constantly just at least one small thing that's off each game, right? If it's not the rotation, it's one player getting caught out or one player not set up correctly in one spot. And it's always one small thing, and it just kind of slows down the whole team over the course of, you know, all of these days. But it's not like they're falling flat, right? They still make it work, but just not to the level that they would like to.
100%. 100%. So, you know, so many teams just need to get it going here, you know, and one team I really like to see that has got it going a little bit is YKG, right? I think YKG today has had a day that we have not seen so far this entire phase. So, right towards the end, YKG getting hot. And that's the time to do so here, Zute, because finals time, those bonus points, you know, those bonus points definitely help out if you have a really bad, like, first game. You know what I'm saying? They give you some breathing room, but they're not the make-all, be-all. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could definitely pass. I mean, there's a team that can get 0 bonus points that could still win the whole thing. So, let's see if that could happen.
Yeah, and we've seen it before. A team coming in with, like, very to little bonus points, and they just tear it up.
True.
And all of a sudden, the team that started off like 40 to 50 points ahead of them, they're neck and neck. And that's off the back of 1 to 2 games instantly, just like that. So the bonus points, definitely a good cushion, but not the end all be all like you mentioned. And I'm surprised with a circle like this, we aren't seeing more teams moving, but it is one of those question mark circles, right? Where it's is it going to be north or south? So a lot of teams kind of just biding their time to keep their options open, seeing if the circle does go to north of the river or south of the river.
And it's one of those kind of scary circles in the sense of, like, rotating in. You never know which team is going to be camping which area. But there's still so many different pathways into this circle that you're going to know that you're pretty safe. So I think that teams, you know, super familiar with the zone, know how to checkpoint themselves, you know, into a safe place. Meanwhile, Wall Street Bets, hitting a tree is Jiwoon. And does he survive? Jachi, Serpentine, Jachi makes it out alive. Jiwoon said, I'm going to go this way.
I don't know how Jiwoon took so much damage. It looked like Jachi was the one that was the lead scout. And I like this from XEZ. He's going to continue to chase down this player to make sure they pull off of this compound, because this compound's really strong as well.
That was a vehicle rotation. That was a vehicle rotation camp from SLR. And you could tell by the amount of loot they have.
Definitely so. And it's a small detail, but just because XEZ, you know, kind of chased that down, Wall Street Bet's not going to go to that compound now. Even though Wall Street Bet still could with 4, but SLR, you know, widen their control. And it may seem greedy, but it was done correctly as wasted. Dong with the laydown. That's when you want to hit that laydown. When the enemy doesn't know you're there, you hit that laydown spray, get it in. But if the enemy does know you're there, that laydown spray could be a little bit tricky because you get insta-headshotted if you miss your first few shots.
100%. Yeah, that's always the tough part. I mean, one thing I do like from SLR is since they did decide to go with that particular push, or that that camp, right? If they do get that knock and they get that finish, they're going to be so looted up and they're going to be so set. But since they left so early to kind of secure that spot, and missing those shots hurts big time, right? Because it kind of ruins your strategy completely because you're hoping to loot off of other players rather than looting, just out on the map. So the good thing for them, though, is that they took that central position. SLR, I love their rotation style. They're so fast. Faster than a lot of teams in this lobby. It's just they can't hold it. That's the only problem,
Yeah.
And, okay, a northern circle. Oh, Zarky, why couldn't you be just a little to the left? Rip. But you know what? Could be a shooting range finish. Even that Snake Hill up top. A lot of spots still available.
This just gives me flashbacks back to the Hyper game, right? Where they had 2,000 plus damage, only 68 damage received. But this time around, Hyper's a little bit too far away from it. And that circle hardship was so fast and hard to the north that position, the airplane, there's no way Hyper is going to get that position for themselves right now. And if they do, shame on the rest of the lobby, okay?
Goodness gracious, you're absolutely right, dude. Shame on the rest. Shame. Let's see which teams are going to be shamed on the way into this next circle, though. You got Butterfly Effect all the way on the southeast side. You got Extreme Slayers there as well. Speedfire, even YKG are going to be really late into this circle, but YKG have started to heat up a little bit, right? And I'll tell you what, trying to get into some early game fights on the way in, catching some squads, that could be something that they need.
Here we have Hyper on the rotation. Yeah, they're not going to go for that plane
Wow,
location.
what a shot.
What? From that distance? I think that player was just driving a buggy as well, so...
Yep.
Not an easy knock at all, man. Hyper. You talk about their long range. It's not just in gun duels. It's not just shooting at players. It's shooting players out of cars in rotations. That's wild.
Wild indeed. And honestly, they can push this. They can. They have the man advantage. But it's a kind of a difficult timing right now. It's super risky if they did.
Yeah.
So
other teams are still coming in from behind them, potentially.
Timing is bad. So I think, they're going to just take that money, run. Yeah, they got some eyes on Canadian Eagles. I think if they get an additional knock, they would go. But Lotus, catching Excuse once again. We see these two teams go at it all day long. And Excuse does sneak away. So avoiding the fight for now. Probably the smart idea since there's so much real estate on the map. Casper getting thirsted by a Lotus. So Execute.
Oh.
Yeah, losing a player early, it's got to hurt. Now you see Fate just kind of driving around, trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, Execute was trying to maybe get a third-party action going on.
Just
but
how are they
from
here,
Lotus,
though? How are they here when this was their zone, and they had this entire side of the map?
I mean, they sat in George Pole thinking that the circle would, kind of center up a little bit more. They weren't expecting that hard shift north, but it is what it is. As we head into the next circle shift, guess what? The plane location not taken. I think Hyper was so dominant that game that everybody is... Well, it doesn't matter, Jukes. It does not matter if the plane location is taken or not, because we are going into the water.
Woo-wee! I'll tell you what, there's a really kind of tricky play that you could do in here, especially if you have a buggy. On this side of the ridgeline, you could just literally drive up towards it, back up, and you'll be hanging off the cliff. And nobody could see you. It's such a strong play. I don't know if teams have that heads up, though, to really understand that is an option. It's disgusting. You just get a whole bunch of vehicles and you just back up your vehicle. And then as soon as the zone pops, you just drive up. And no team can see you.
That sounds like a TikTok strategy.
It's good. It's really good. That's an old school play.
Did you see that on a TikTok?
No, I saw it because, I did it once. It's a disgusting play, but not a lot of people know about it. And I wonder if we're going to see a team utilize it because it's so strong. Literally, you have to worry about nothing until the last zone.
Okay, we'll see if it does come to fruition as Execute.
K19, maybe?
They're down. They were down a member already, and Trick just goes down, not even able to put up a fight. Now it's all down to Killswitch, and his the jig is up. They know Killswitch is indeed in there. Killswitch, last one up for Execute. Yes, last one up for Execute. How fast the cookie crumbles.
How fast indeed. What can Killswitch do? Man, I can't wait to see that player start popping off. I mean, man, this before, back in the day, this was one of the most feared players in North America. And now we've just really been waiting to see him kind of pull that same type of play off. Let's see if the bank's open. Is it open? Nope, still closed. He's got the B zone, though. The Bison. Let's see if he can put it to work, though. That's going to be the question. 1v2. Killswitch. Chronix versus Kai. I'll tell you what, Chronix, definitely not a player you want to mess with. Yeah, he's trying to get those cheeky nades off, but Killswitch not able to hit the mark. I'll tell you what, the Bison, I love it, but sometimes it just ain't it in 1v2 situations. It's a good nade.
Oh,
wow,
that nade is
that's
good,
a
though.
great nade. 1v1. Oh, that
Oh.
Chronix. Yeah, he hard peaked. Killswitch.
It
Man,
was so close, though. It was
Yeah, it
very
was.
close.
Killswitch is a player that I see most often than not just take those extreme risks when it comes to peaks. Like, you see some times where he'll, like, be in the middle of a gun change and he'll out-peak
Yeah.
rather than being patient. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that the level, the skill level
think
of this
that-
lobby has raised so much that I think that he just needs to be a
Definitely.
little bit more patient.
I think that works against maybe 80% of the lobby, but we all know Chronix, right? We say that guy's name all the time.
Yup.
It doesn't work against Chronix, but you still see how close it got. It was like maybe 1 bullet's difference.
For sure.
Killswitch still got it in him, right? Like
But we know that.
he wins those like most of the time, but Chronix, star player, really strong. And that peak, of course, you know, Chronix had that advantage in the pre-fire, so it didn't work in Killswitch's way. Circle still slowly about to close in here. Now YKG's here onto the excuse side. Let's see if YKG can finish this team out. And YKG still has 4 up, so this is looking good for them. They could work with 4 into the slow zone as it starts closing.
Are they going to push this excuse play? They do. Oh, Kai gets actually a knock on to Joey. That's going to be rough for the rest of YKGs. They should have a good idea of where the rest of the team is, that they're all up on top of that roof. But they're just still throwing nades in the same spot. How about that one? Ooh, a little bit up top there.
Oh,
Kai gets
Kai
knocked.
jumping.
Yeah, that's tough. This is actually a really difficult push here from, super,
Yep.
and they get caught. Ooh,
No, they traded.
Oh,
It was
they
a good
did?
trade. Now
No.
it's all down to Chronix. Joey! Oh,
Fierce!
Oh!
Gets knocked. Chronix just too clutch in this position, and YKG falling apart again with the crazy split. I just don't understand. I'll never get it. I'll never get it. When you're on a full push, especially outside of zone, and you need to take out the whole squad, I don't understand it. I understand that Chico was trying to get an angle on the roof from that spot, but still, it's just, I don't know. You have the man advantage.
It's just one of those things where when it's done correctly, it looks really good. No, hear me out, Jukes.
Yeah.
Like, like in Hyper would probably play in a similar fashion. Honestly, it's just when done correctly, it works really well, but it just wasn't executed. It's a high-level execution play. You can put all your eggs in one basket, make it easy, but, you know, one bad nade, a third party, whatever the case is, you know, all your play options are out the window.
I feel
YKG,
like-
they keep their play options in, but they have to execute it at a higher level to pull it off, and sometimes it just doesn't hit.
Oh, excuse getting away from it, and now going up against Lotus. 1v3, and Juan absolutely crushing it. One player left. Oh!
So close.
Almost got the squad wipe. Goes
Where's
down.
the rest of the team?
One hit. Oh, here comes Fetty. Going to avenge their teammates, and the shots coming on out.
Oh, someone stopped him. Someone
Yeah.
stopped. Was that Chronix last
Yeah, it
time?
was
It
Chronix
was. Of
again.
course it was Chronix.
Dude's insane.
I was about to say, someone stop him. Why is no one stopping him? And then I was like, oh, it's Chronix. He's
Ugh.
just built like that. He is just built like that.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna sound like one of those basketball old heads. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, they just need to practice the fundamentals. You know what I'm saying? The fundamentals is what they need. I saw K19. It looked like they attempted it, but I don't know why they didn't commit to it. You know, to hiding those vehicles on that ridge line. You saw what I was talking about? How you could just park
yeah,
it there?
a little bit. Yeah,
that
yeah.
edge?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I
but
thought at first you meant like it's literally like Spider-Man hanging off on the thing where no one could see you. No
In
matter
certain
what.
areas there is. In certain areas there is. Yeah, you can literally put yourself in a spot that is unpeakable for the most part. So,
Okay,
like if you try to go to it, you're falling down. You just gotta stay in the vehicle, chill. You know,
Mm.
3 peak
I
everybody,
see.
you're good. But you know what? Not committed to. So, K19
And
go
Hyper
down.
still has 4 up, by the way, and they have 6 points.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
have the
YKG's got a
zone.
few, but BOPE is also alive, so that's a problem.
Oh, and Hyper's dealing with both right now. So I was just gonna say, in Hyper, they have the zone, they don't have the zone, doesn't matter. Here's a game where they don't have a zone, but it looks like they've had the zone the whole game. Just dominance, full control.
Look at that. Look at
And,
that spread.
Yeah. They just know how to play split. And we were talking about YKG doing that split push earlier. Like, I'm telling you, Jukes, like, if done properly and correctly, it is harder to pull off, but
Oh, goodness.
it's just
This push.
a higher level of execution. And if it works out really good. And Bope
Wow.
coming in.
BOPE.
Wait, third party push right here, 4-1-2. They're not going to stop. Oh, yes, they are going to stop.
Yes, sir. Take those points all
Ooh.
day long. Gun pain. Picking them up. Now it has to worry about it in Hyper. Here come the smokes. 3 point. Needing to throw him out big time. Just try to get in those vehicles and take off because that is not a place you want to be.
Yeah, no, they need to survive long enough for the blue zone to close up so N-Hyper can't take advantage of this. And N-Hyper knows, they know they have a slim timing, a slim window of opportunity. If they could get 1 or 2 nade locks right here,
Oh,
we might see the
3
push,
point.
but GK first goes down.
Here comes another big nade. Koi's going to go and drive up for the res. So much suppressive fire here on the 4-1-2. Not much they can do in their spot right now. They just got so many eyes on them. And oh, more nades, more utility dropped on their heads. It's like a red zone here in this point. Now the question is, which team's gonna win the match? Who do you think is gonna win the match here? Zute?
Gosh, I gotta go with N-Hyper. If N-Hyper's in the late game with 4 up, it's just their chances of winning are just boosted astronomically. And yeah, they will get that revive. They'll have to never mind. Never
Wow.
mind.
Wow.
I was gonna say they're gonna have to reposition and they can't get those points in time. Take out 4-1-2. Never mind. That was essentially how you 2v4 it. You just superior positioning. Doesn't matter how much the other team has. And look at that. As they drive in, their teammates covering, gets another opening.
Kubi.
And they're just not they're not gonna stop. They're gonna keep going from one play to the next. More points, one after another. Nice and Hyper. Just textbook. Everything done correctly.
Unreal. These guys just do not quit. It is ridiculous. And now you see SLR kind of going with that strategy I was talking to you about, but I mean, they are just camping up top. But meanwhile, N-Hyper full sends it on them and absolutely punished them. You have to still peek. Oh, they're gonna blow it up just like that. So I don't need this Bugatti. Get out of here.
Nah,
No, he was checking. He was checking.
Yeah, they're checking everything because
Checking
players
everything.
hide in the cars nowadays.
Woo!
Yeah, so you can't even sneak that by in Hyper. They are
Unreal.
just everything, right? Like dialed in, no mistakes made.
Wow. Match number 4.
Wow.
13 eliminations for N-Hyper. Baker's does it, and they're not done.
Oh man, I really can't wait to see what this team can do in a better lobby. My biggest fear for N-Hyper is that against a tougher lobby, they revert back to playing a little bit more passive.
Please,
right?
no.
I want to see them keep playing this way and mess up and get stopped against better teams, but that just means now they can practice and keep playing this style. I hope that's what's going to happen. I don't want to see them get stopped and be like, oh, okay, we can't do this. We can't play this style in this type of lobby. No, it just means you need to keep practicing this style and improve on it. And so we'll see in due time, but man, this N-Hyper team, love it. I absolutely love it.
I want to see it so bad. I want to see it so bad. I want to see that aggression. I want to see that decisiveness we're seeing for this team in that lobby. And really, I think it's just going to come down to that clutch factor, because I think they have all the tools. They have all the tools necessary. It's just them getting in their own way, you know, getting in their own heads, making the wrong decisions. I think that's what really makes it so tough for them. This next zone is starting to close. Still so much real estate here, but there's not a lot of cover. And I think that's what we're seeing here. G1's trying to get some intel. Ooh, sees Cloudy. But I think he realized it's just him by himself, so he's going to probably go around again. He confirmed it. He confirmed it.
He doesn't need to do that. This player's not in the zone.
Oh, no. If he gets this knock on a G1's pretty bad. Cloudy's owning. Oh, Cloudy's on a 1 HP, though. That nade's going to do it. Yep.
Yeah.
Not much you could do there in that decision. But, man, he's making it hard. He's making it hard on this team, and he secured a good, solid finish for his squad as well.
Definitely so.
Top 5.
And it started looking shaky for Wall Street Bets. It looked like they might have lost a player there in a 4v1-esque type of situation. But they get it done, and they keep all 4 up. They're going to keep things interesting as we're coming down to the last 4 teams. SLR's still alive, but you kind of count that player out. He's just hoping he gets the zone and not have to do anything, get another placement up. So essentially, it's Wall Street Bets and Hyper and YKG in the picture.
Let's see what the strategy is going to be. YKG desperately just needing to catch up to NHyper, and it's not going to happen. This team is just ridiculous.
There's no catching up.
There's no catching up. I mean, you have to depend on them to throw. Like, this is what I was talking about, you know, a couple days ago. I was saying, you know, YKG needs to put this into their own hands. Even if they have a good game, NHyper's going to pop off. You know what I'm saying? You can't depend on them to throw this. So you have to put it in your own hands. You have to hunt them down. You have to camp their vehicle rotations. You have to either do some hot drops, something, whatever it takes to disrupt them, because they are just running over every single lobby. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm going to say this. Everything that you just said doesn't even matter, because that's not even in the picture anymore. There is no
you're right.
catching up. There is no stopping NHyper.
That's true.
YKG just need to find themselves again.
Yeah. 24K
They
pushing
need
up.
they just need to focus on themselves, get back into fighting form.
They need
Yeah,
to
they saw XTZ. This is good. This is another placement up. If they can deal with it, Koi stops Chico.
Wow.
And XTZ is running in circles on 24K, but 24K does get the better end of it. And there we go. Okay. I think a top 3 is the best YKG can hope for it in this situation, because Wall Street Bets and NHyper got that zone shift. YKG did not.
Goodness gracious. This is crazy. You're right. I think YKG needs to like go through like a whole like eat, pray, love tour. You know what I'm saying? Find themselves, get a good book, you know, just be like, and, you know, maybe even look at the mirror and just hit them with that. This isn't us. You know what I'm saying? This isn't us.
I do have a question for you, though.
Go ahead.
Wall Street Bets and NHyper, who's going to take this?
NHyper.
I mean, Wall Street Bets has a way better positioning, but I know it's NHyper. They get the opening. You think so?
NHyper.
You still think so, Juice?
NHyper. NHyper.
Okay. Oh. Uh-oh. Gets one.
Jachi! Goodbye!
Nope.
NHyper! Wall Street.
Oh, wait, YKG can win this now.
Yeah, yes, they can. Yes, they can. YKG can win this, and it is looking real good. So, NHyper, the picks going south. Oh, G-Wood catching Joey off guard.
I think it's done now. Yeah.
Dun, dun,
I don't think YKG could get this.
dun, dun,
Wall Street Bets, they reset up to 4 as well, so it's just 24K up at this point. Try and deny that point.
He's got nades. He's got nades. Does he use them? What would you do?
Like on himself, you mean?
Oh, 100%.
Okay. He's got 4. 24K.
All he needs is 1. All he needs is 1. That nade right there would have been like, I'm out. See ya.
Yeah, that.
Yep. Eviction
Run
notice.
into the blue zone.
And do the Jachi. Give him the point. Wall Street Bets soaking up some nice points there. And NHyper with a crazy performance. I think Wall Street Bets is going to win the game, but I think NHyper is going to win the war points-wise. Crazy.
Yeah, and NHyper picked up a lot of elimination points. Wall Street Bets playing that really well, too, just making sure they don't throw the match. saw it got a little bit shaky when they were dealing with Cloudy, but 1,602 damage, 9 eliminations. That's a solid game out of Wall Street Bets. This is one of the teams that you've been kind of, mentioning here and there, like you want to see more from them. Well, they showed it here, Jukes.
Yes, they did. I'll tell you what, Jack G is a guy that I've had so much faith in for so long. I think he is definitely a strong player. It's just him getting on the right squad and developing with them, because he's got what it takes. Unfortunately, we don't see him on the match report here because it's just swallowed up by the giant that is NHyper. Absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, you know what? Wall Street Bets is the reason why I put this team in my kind of original top 3. I think they have a lot of talent on the roster. I don't see Slimmy on the roster, but I'll tell you what, this squad we're starting to see put in some work.
Yeah, we'll see if they can put in more work. We still got a couple games left, and all the teams, looking pretty promising. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back after some highlights.
Okay, Wall Street Bets. All right, make us see our awards. So we're like, Wall Street Bets is in a really good position. Should we pick them? You know what? We'll give it to YKG or NHyper as the guys are out going. I'm sorry. Okay, Wall Street Bets. I apologize. I'll keep a closer eye next time you guys are in a perfect location. Match ranking right there. 19 points out of them.
Yeah.
And NHyper, I mean, closing out the day. That was the last game for today. 14 eliminations. NHyper just doing NHyper things, Cam.
Yeah, they ended on such a good note for NHyper. For Wall Street Bets too. Listen, it was at the very end, top 3 or top 4. I said this, Seven. I said remove the names, the team names, the player names from this field, and Wall Street Bets wins. It's just they're up against NHyper right in front of them, and then YKG as the threat on the west side. The fact that I'm still shocked at how efficiently Wall Street Bets just eliminated NHyper. And that just shows like the risk of that cliffside that NHyper and YKG both played around is that when you have to leave the cliff, there's not a lot of cover. And Wall Street Bets, they got it done, really utilizing the lack of cover as well as their own aggressive vehicle sends. And who was it? Like one of them, I forget who it was. That's on me, but firing such good long range shots to get that initial damage to knock a few of them.
I believe it was Jack G, but the thing that actually impressed me the most with Wall Street Bets gaming, what they were able to do is the way that they were able to take onto butterfly effect, take that little ridge right there on that road, and like kind of give them an advantage. And I think we even saw a player to kind of push towards YKG, and I was like, okay, are they gonna be switching it up? But they decided to just hold it, wait for the next circle. It ended up working out wonders for them. By the way, butterfly effect. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of you guys today. Okay, you guys are a team that needed to close the gap on K19, and boy, I can't wait to see tomorrow when we actually get a chance to look at the overall for all the faces, because you have closed it in a big way. Another team I kind of want to mention here on the first page, 412 Nomads, 4 points. I feel like they're starting to go back to their passive playing style, Cam. I'm not starting to see those aggressiveness, the elims that they were showcasing last time. It's kind of gone.
Yeah, I actually think so. Nomads were never an aggressive team in terms of them pushing compounds. They were just really good at holding them and picking off eliminations from like medium to long range. I think it's because everyone else is doing a lot more fighting because we're getting to the very end of this entire league to try and qualify. Teams are trying to be more aggressive themselves, which I think might be, changing up Nomads' game, and that they're trying to like respond to what the lobby is doing, and now that's changing. So it's, they got to figure something new out. But here's the second half of the match ranking scoreboard. Extreme Slayers, this is kind of what we were worried about. Slowly slipping down. BOPE hasn't really recovered too much. Canadian Eagles hasn't recovered too much. And then Execute as well. They have a couple of spikes of performance, but then another single point win here.
Yeah, I'm actually... Sorry, I was thinking about Wall Street Bets because that team has definitely drank their Monster Energy, our official energy drink partner. I was looking at the stats, and if we can actually pull up the player stats for this match, the stats so far today, second place finish, 5th place finish and 1st place finish. So I should have went back and looked at that when we got a chance to pick a team, and I would have ended up picking them. By the way, Jack G was that player that you were thinking about earlier. 4 elims, 811 damage.
Yeah, he's been on that kill feed on the positive side a lot today, not just this one game. He's been throwing out some really, really good numbers. I mean, you know, the gap, the difference between him and G-Moon and everyone else, it's a bit concerning from this one single match. But as you said, they didn't just pop off this one match. They've had a couple of good games so far, so I wouldn't be too worried just yet. The question is, can they continue this going forward? But this looks like a really, really nice trajectory. And already, I'm convinced that they're a much bigger threat than I think I would have given them credit for earlier this week, or you know, the previous weeks as well.
I'm with that too, and by the way, I was mentioning like how they have finished in regards to the placement points. Going back to the 2nd place finish, they ended up with 9 elims. So yeah, it might have been a big disparity there between the teammates for the last one, but I might actually want to go back and see how the other team's been performing, because the whole team has been performing well, and I'm pretty sure while I'm doing this, you might be able to check it for me, as we are going to be looking at. I want to see right now. Hyper versus YKG today so far, because even though YKG hasn't really been able to get as many chicken dinners as I would like them to get, I feel like they have improved so much, and you can kind of see it here. I mean, Hyper closing out the day with 31 elims. YKG still has one more match to play, and they currently have 29 limbs with 4,600 damage.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much expected. The eliminations are super tight, and Hyper have more damage because they tend to take more long-range fights, especially Kindness is getting all those teams at long range. YKG are more just like suddenly show up at your doorstep with a fist in your face. So this isn't really too surprising, and Hyper are still performing very, very good if you look at the eliminations of the previous round. But YKG, the fact that they're in the conversation is such a good change.
Now that we're kind of done talking about Hyper and YKG, were you able to pull up any stats there for me in regards to the?
Give me like 2 seconds. I accidentally looked for tomorrow's stats.
Okay,
Which
I'll give you 2 more seconds. And by the way, the next match that we are going to be playing, it's going to be Miramar, which I kind of alluded to earlier, and I was stuck in the past. That's pretty much what happened, because usually we're used to going from Erangel, Miramar, Sanhok, and yeah, it didn't happen. But we are going to be having Miramar coming up quick.
Jat G is still in the lead, but it's looking a lot closer than that one single game. So no worry at all. Wall Street Bets rising.
Okay, so it was just that match, and they are going to be playing this next match too. So Wall Street Bets, come on, back to back, please.
All right, we're heading on to Miramar. Man, Seven's asking for a lot of back-to-backs. That's a tough task for all of these teams involved. So I mean, maybe not, but it's definitely good seeing Wall Street Bets, you know, popping off there and doing really well today, like the desk pointed out. But still, coming into phase 3, most eliminations, can't help but to, you know, kind of look at that.
Highest damage. Wow.
And you can't help but to kind of look at that one too. We should see least damage received. That'd be cool.
Oh, that'd be wild.
Yeah, but headshots finally. Gun Pain showing up in here, and Blinky Bay, and of course you always got to throw in at least one Hyper member. So Miramar, here we go. Very good playing path, by the way, Jukes. Everybody should be able to get to where they want to. We're gonna see the good, tried and true K19 versus Wall Street Bets and Picado as well. So always like to start off with a little bit of a hot drop there.
Yes, sir, indeed. Got a little bit of a hot drop there. Let me guess. I'm gonna close my eyes. It's Wall Street Bets and K19. Yep. 100%. There it is. I mean,
who do you have your money on this time around?
Wall Street Bets. Yeah. Wall Street Bets.
How much you see betting on it?
69 UC. I think that's a good, clean number. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
Not too rich. It's not the hundo. You know, just a little bit in between. And I'll tell you what. K19. Come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to lose that UC. And I want to lose it down the range of HH24. Because, dude, I love HH24. I think he's a monster player. He just hasn't been able to kind of get things going so far in this tournament, you know? And I think once he does, we're going to see it, because he was one of those players that was one of the greatest threats in this region. And ton of experience, but just like we mentioned, just not able to get things really kick-started here. So Wall Street Bets, that we have definitely seen some signs of life from them. as they take a look here. Killjoy on this side of the apartment. He's looking across the way, trying to see if he can see anybody moving. No sight lines yet, so not a lot of information, but you know what? K19 definitely knows where Wall Street Bets is.
Yeah, I will say this thing. You talked about HH being a monster player. I think you can't take a break from the game. Like, if you take a break from the game, these other cats that are, young and hungry,
Oof.
they will pass you up. So it's not just HH, right? HH, Sixless. All right, he took a break.
Tensa.
Can't hang with the best now. Same with Tensa.
Kill
he took a
switch.
break. Can't hang with the best now. Kill Switch, did he take a break? I think
Yeah,
he did. So from X set, there was a gap period, wasn't there?
there was.
Yeah, okay. He took a break. Doing okay, but not the Kill Switch that was, talked and feared as before. Yeah, so you take one small break,
Whew.
you will be passed up by other players, other teams. So yeah, these new players, the young bloods, right? They're putting in work, and you better continue to put in work. Don't take a break, because you may have been one of the best before, but take a break. Other players will take your spotlight.
100%. And it's kind of tough too, because every update, little changes to the game happen as well. We don't talk about that enough, but it definitely does happen, and sometimes it could even be, sensitivity, gyroscope, a lot of times you'll have an update and, oh, I realized that, man, my M4 is a little faster than it was before. So you got to dial it down like 5-10 points. And it's so crazy how those little oddities change your playstyle completely, right? It just really hurts, and it makes you feel off. That's the best way I could say it. And when something feels off, your entire game feels off, especially when you miss a shot that you knew that you would normally hit. You flick with a bolt action, it's just like a couple just millimeters off of where you normally have it. And, man, it kind of puts you in a really rough state. So, yeah, these players that have just been playing nonstop, I mean, they're just so on top of things, always making adjustments. They put in the hours, right?
Yep.
And I think that's why they're such a huge threat. Meanwhile, speaking of threat, PASSIONFRUIT, Nate has his eyes on Excuse, and I think Kai definitely spotted one of them because he's looking hardcore in this direction.
They hear the vehicles. They hear the vehicles in the north. I don't know if PASSIONFRUIT's no excuses. Oh, they could see that vehicle parked wide in the open. Yep, okay, they know. They know a team is set up here. They're not just, setting up the cover fire.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Wait, what?
I think he's shooting the... Yeah, okay, I'm with you on that. Wait, what? Question mark. He not only just shot at the wheels, but he shot and then still stayed wide in the open.
Oh,
okay.
The rest of the team?
Yeah, that was very un-Nate-like.
Honcho here, though. Honcho defending his boy. That's a nice Molotov. Will it hit? That's a hard one to throw. Really hard one to nail. Yeah. Not able to do so. Oh, he hit him! Wow, that's crazy. That's a tough one to throw. And he has to be literally right on the bullseye to hit that Molotov. So, heads up from Honcho. Goodbye, Nate.
Yep. They catch that one. I feel like Nate could have maybe moved around a little bit, like crawled back. Like, maybe that might have done something, right? You can't just give up completely. But, yeah, that peep from Nate. A rare moment where it was just bad play.
What? Yeah,
through and through.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. We all get one. You know what I'm saying? It happens every night. It definitely happens. We all get one. So, Nate just got caught slipping. Honcho, run! Oh, there's some suppressive fire. Valak with the off-A goal. Getting a little bit of revenge. Beautifully done from Valak.
Yeah. There's that patience coming into play, and the teammates playing correctly, right? If Juancho stayed up there more, they would have never went into the line of sight for Valak.
That's true.
And then you'd be like, why is Valak so far away? He's not doing anything. But that's that synergy. When you have a player in the backlines holding supportive fire, you need to play back for that player. Otherwise, it just makes everyone on the team look bad and not synergized. So they will get a trade 1-for-1. It is a 3v3 now. But I think the aggression from both teams should just come to a standstill now. And they lost Chronix.
Oh,
Chronix,
no.
the big player,
Oof.
getting taken out.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Excuse better watch out too, because Chronix is one of those players I think has gotten on people's radars. You know what I'm saying? We've seen it time and time again where a team that doesn't perform well or doesn't make it or doesn't do as good, hey, standout players, they get picked up. And you know what? There's also some prize pools. We haven't talked about it in a minute, but there's some extra cash on the line for, you know, your MVP, which ain't going to go to you. It's going to go to an hyper player. But you know what? Best moment, you know what I'm saying? Still available. Some other spots still available. So that's what I think is the best thing to do, especially if you're on a team you feel that's struggling, is just go nuts, frag out, you know? Because at the end of the day, we can't hear comms. We can't see, you know, a lot of times you're not seeing rotations on camera, but frags, numbers, that's what gets you picked up. So as much as I don't think it is the main thing to be a good player in this game, I think there's a lot more factors to it. Communication, I think, being number one. I'll take a better communicator over a better fragger any day, you know? But I'll tell you what, if you're a monster fragger, it's hard to deny it.
Yeah, it is also the easiest thing to spot out at a glance, right? Like you mentioned, you don't know how good their comms are. You don't know, you know, how good of a mental they have, what type of player they are. But you can see real quick, how many frags did you put up this tournament? Oh,
wow.
That's nice.
Yeah. Like,
we'll give you a shot. We'll figure out that synergy, your comms thing later.
yeah. Oh, was it you that won with your forward in hyper? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like you hear those kind of things, and it's gonna put you on the map for sure. Yeah, you can work everything else out after that. So that's really the only way, right? And I've told, you know, people who are looking to get started in PUBG Mobile Esports, a lot of the times that's the route. You know, just put up those numbers and really just show up when the time counts. And you're so right. You know, you could practice with the player, you could do everything and think they're so good, and then come LAN time, their hands just start shaking uncontrollably, and they just they can't perform.
Ooh, Extreme Slayer's taking out PASSIONFRUIT right now. PASSIONFRUIT's down to 1, and Baton trying his best right now to fend off this 1v4, and he's it is Baton. He can, if anyone can make things. Oh, that is nasty.
Baton! Hello! You better run. You better run, I'll tell you what. Joey, the man, the myth, the legend, up against Baton. Who's going to win it? Joey?
This is beautiful.
He knows where he is.
This is beautiful to see. Baton doesn't have to
not
worry
the blue
about...
zone! Oh,
man.
not the blue zone!
On.
Come on, Papa Blue. That's just wrong.
But we were just on the topic about, you know, standout players could get picked up. Hey, MEZEXIS.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you guys don't pull it together, yeah, Baton's on the, he's free agent. He's on the radar, maybe. Potentially free agent, right? He is with an org, so I don't know how that's going to work out, if he's locked in or not. But pay raise? That could definitely be a thing for Baton, you know, standout player. PUPPETEER's here, and Canadian Eagles in a very sticky fight.
Oh my gosh, runovers, reckless. Taking out Drago. Baby Tank getting caught, and yeah, Canadian Eagles. That's going to be about it. It's Bob's on the run, and he's going to go ahead and take off in that. Yeah, he's going to get popped out. One bullet's all it takes. Yep, got him.
Yep.
So there goes Canadian Eagles. Yeah, you have to watch out for that. I mean, as a player, as a team, you have to be careful, because those star players, I'll tell you what, ooh, especially if an international team comes calling.
Yeah. Wait, check out Picado real quick.
Uh-oh.
They're still there.
Still there. I mean, and look at this. We're seeing action. The fight engages. I think K19 win it. I believe so. So K19. I don't know. That is a wild finish indeed. I mean, these guys will never give up, never what? You know what I'm saying? Never give up, never what? They don't care.
I remember you bringing up the, you know, with neither team really benefiting, should K19 or Walsh should. I was like, no, Jukes. They're literally dropping there for ego's sake. They don't care what happens in the Miramar match. They're gonna drop there for ego's sakes just to see who can beat the other one. And that, them sitting in the blue zone for this long, still fighting. What screams ego more than that?
Oh,
right?
man,
They
never give
don't
up.
care.
Never
what's
surrender. I
the
love
rest
it.
of the match. So
I love
K19. They take it. They win this one.
That's right. You suck, Wall Street Bets. I'm just kidding. Right? Just like that's how these guys are. That's ridiculous, you know. But hey, you know what? It's PMPL, baby. You know, we know we ain't gonna see this in future stages, but here in North America, you know what? Sometimes that pride's what it's all about.
Yep.
Reminds me of that. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it. Not even gonna say it. But you know what? It is what it is. Sometimes you just gotta battle
I'll
it
take
out
it
to
from
the
me.
end. Huh?
Say it. I want to hear it.
It reminds me of this one anime where you see these two warriors. They battled for 1,000 years. You know what I'm saying? And so they battled for so long that they forgot what they were battling about. You know what I'm saying? At that point, the volcano erupted and they just started going at it. You know, and it just reminded me of that situation. And who knows? Who knows how long this is going to go on for? You know, like you mentioned, probably the entire tournament. It is fun to watch. You know, but who knows? Maybe comes finals time, we'll actually see some seriousness.
Well, YKG here with all 4 up. Almost could have been a completely different story with Baton. Man, that jump out the window with the quick peek, with the quick scope.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Goodbye.
Oh, that's not bad.
Oh, that was actually really fortunate roll. Yeah. Wow. And Fears getting a nice knock onto Illusion. Oh, this is so tough for BULUC CHABTAN. They can't afford to be losing players like this because, you know, they want to get into that top 16, which is so critical. But, oh, man, YKG. That rollover was wild. It's crazy how that worked out.
Yeah,
That's like the perfect car wall.
I think, what's the term I'm looking for? It's not planned. It's one of those things you say out. Calculated. There we go.
Calculated.
Yeah, it was just calculated.
Calculated. That's right. That is correct. Wow. Next zone, as you can see. Could we have a San Martin finish? That would be fun. Let's take it over to San Martin.
Yeah, I'm more curious to see which team is gonna maybe poke at Excuse and then take that spot over. Because Excuse, they lost Chronix, right? They only have 3 up. And from the west side coming in, could be YKG. YKG's looking hungry. YKG's looking good. And more importantly, YKG have 4 up. That's where they thrive under those pushes. They will push almost anything and anyone with 4 up.
Let's see how many points they're going to end up getting because we got a few seconds left here, Zute. Actually, about a minute. And the question is going to be which team has the most eliminations? Guys in the chat right now, put in your predictions. We'll see which YouTube IGL is correct. Joey putting some suppressive H4. Serpentine H4. Serpentine! He's dancing. He's moving. He's juking. Jukes are hot. Ah, but 24K shut him down.
Yep. From, you know what HH is saying? Like, I don't care. We won the fight in Picado.
That's right.
That is all that matters.
That's right, baby. That's right. That's how you do it. Nothing else. Everything is downhill from here, boys. Meanwhile, man, speaking of downhill, look at that. 24K. Better watch out. One wrong step, and he's slipping off there. Fears getting absolutely beamed off of it. Ooh, this is like one of the longest nades ever. And it hits from downtown. Joey survives. Joey has the ankles of truth. And he's going to continue to push on down with that DBS. Looking to catch this last player from BULUC CHABTAN Minor. And 24K gets knocked. Oh, and Joey shuts him down.
Okay. That's one of those things where it happens once and they learn from it, right? Fears driving off like that, they're thinking like, surely you have an angle. Surely if I get knocked in a buggy, you guys will find an angle to follow up and I won't get thirsted, right?
Oh.
Nope, not the case. But they'll never make that mistake again. That's for sure.
We hope so. We hope so. Sometimes, you know, that's what I always say is it's okay to make mistakes, especially here in PMPL League stage because you have so much time. And come finals time, even if you don't have the bonus points, you could still win it, right? This is the stage to really adapt. You know, to adapt to the lobby, learn, and just level up every single split. And hopefully we'll see teams do that here. And YKG, we're seeing level up here today. Long takes down YKG, though. Joey, he goes down. He's knocked. Not thirsted just yet. Let's see how they decide to handle this. This is all the way on the west side of the map. Uh-oh, here comes SLR. SLR with the push? All right. SLR getting aggressive. I love it.
Yeah. Super lazy Reflex. Not looking lazy right now, but how
Oh,
clean
boy.
can they do the push? Stellar wins that crucial 1v1. And
Goodness
YKG
gracious.
Imagine if this was the SLR we saw the entire tournament. Man, they could be making a lot of moves. But of course, like they had the info though, right? Fierce was thirsted earlier, so that knock 4v2, no questions asked.
No questions asked, indeed. Wow, what a play. What a play right there. I mean, this is an SLR we've been waiting to see. I mean, they have the rotations, they have the passiveness, but, you know, playing aggressive and flipping that switch has been so difficult for them. And to see them do it against YKG of all teams definitely pumps me up. So let's see how SLR could finish it off. And it's tough because, you know, we see a lot of teams, like, towards the end of the tournament, they finally start showing who they are because the pressure's off, right? They're like, you know what? You know, we got nothing to worry about. Let's just kind of have fun and play our game. And then they do that, and they're like, dude, why didn't we play like this from the get-go? And it's good that SLR is doing this now before the finals.
I prefer they do this earlier, but it's not too late, like you said. SLR, they kind of remind me, honestly, Jukes, of a baby in Hyper.
Okay.
Yeah, like too passive, but they could do the rotations, but they don't know how to play aggressive, right? Kind of like a baby in Hyper.
A little baby in Hyper.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like that. I like that because I can see it. You know, their rotations are fast, right? They get to good spots. They just have trouble defending them, you know, and they have trouble turning on that aggression, which is something N-Hyper kind of had in the past. But I'll tell you what, N-Hyper could defend. If they had a big zone, they knew what to do. It's turning on the aggression and making pushes like that.
No.
You don't think so?
No, remember Baby in Hyper, where we were like, why are they holding that split defense?
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah. Baby in Hyper, like the very early in Hyper days.
Yes. Infant in Hyper. Correct.
Yeah, so that is kind of like where SLR is at, in a sense. So, hey, follow in the footsteps of the greats, and you'll get there. You'll get there eventually. So we'll see where this SLR is by the time, you know, finals rolls around. I mean, it's they're a long ways off, but we'll see. Meanwhile, Excuse still here, holding this spot, the best spot, with only 3 up. It's because teams, you know, they think there should be 4 there, so they're a little bit more hesitant on taking this spot over.
Well, the question is, which team's going to have the most eliminations? You know, that is the question. We may have to see some penalties come out here for some of these teams. But meanwhile, we do have the NOMADS peeking out, trying to make some plays. And Extreme Slayer's big centered up right now. So I hope you guys in the chat have put in your predictions before we have. And you can see who it is. We've got a little bit of calm before the storm. The map's so big. Everyone's got so much cover. No one's moving a muscle. So for the next 10 seconds, and as the zone closes, we're going to see pretty quiet gameplay, unless I want to see this zone hard shift back to San Martin. It doesn't. Center's right on up.
Nah, even if it hard shifted, like that hilltop Excuse has will still be in the zone. So that's why I'm saying this spot is so strong. Excuse kicking themselves for losing Chronics right now. If they had Chronics up, man, they'd be in a much comfortable spot. Now 4-1-2 have pushed up. They've taken one of the compounds in that fortress up there, and they have an Excuse has to give that up. It's because they just don't have the manpower to really hold the entire thing down. And now SLR is also getting closer. Meanwhile, in the city, things are starting to heat up with a lot of it not being in the circle now.
Ooh, this is on the thin side of the zone pretty much, so the zone's going to close pretty quickly. So you can see the angst coming out from these players. They got to get going quickly. You got Butterfly Flecked up on top of this 4-stack. Lotus on the bottom. Ooh, Kubi catches Fishy and gets the thirst quick. Crazy. That's from up top. What a play there. So, great way to kind of just oh my goodness, Butterfly effect. catching Fetty as well. What a great defense here from the spot. So aggressive.
Yeah. Oh, look at Cloudy doing some parkour, jumping from the top floor down to the third floor.
Oh, tried to get in the window, couldn't do it.
Oh, yeah, he was definitely trying to do some hardcore there. But the rest of Butterfly Effect can still get it done. D going in, and now Lotus, who had 4 coming in here, is about to go down to none. Can the last player of Lotus pull off some plays here?
Let's see. Oh, I think he spotted him. They know where he is. They're trying to make plays. Oh, D goes down. Kubi, you got to make this play, Kubi.
Yeah, what's Cloudy doing?
Yeah,
I think
I don't
Cloudy's
know.
just like, Cloudy's like, I thought you guys had it.
Yeah,
okay.
he's like, dude, do we not have it or not? Like, that's tough. Yeah, he was trying to focus more inwards
Yeah.
and figuring out where the next spot is for the team. So Lotus does get eliminated. Nice eliminations there for Butterfly Effect. Extreme Slayers with 5 so far. SLR with 4. Butterfly Effect with 6. Putting up some big numbers here.
Butterfly Effect doing really good today. They've definitely showed, I think, their best performance out of all the 3 phases right now. Maybe one of the other phases they had a couple big games, but this is the closest back-to-backs like for Butterfly Effect in a single day that I've seen with good performance. Here comes Ace of Spades.
Uh-oh, and
one
here
of the
comes...
teams, yeah, that could really show up here. We'll see what they do here. They're only down to 3 though, Jukes.
And this is against Extreme Slayers. This is the team that both Cameron and Seven picked to have the most eliminations. Currently, they're one of the top ones with 5. They're rocking a split here, though, so it's a 3v2 situation. The thing is that they do have cover from their other 2 teammates on this cross to try to get in their building, so that's something they have going for them. This next zone, where is it going to go, though? That's going to be the question. If it leaves from here, all these teams are in trouble.
I think it's going to leave from
Hilltop?
that area. Yeah, it's going to go up to the hilltop. We'll see very soon. And here comes the shift.
Hilltop?
Dong.
Hilltop?
Some nades here.
Ooh, missed it. Yep. On to the middle mountain we go. Dog, wow. Okay, yeah. And he actually gets Molotov by Hayuya, so that's another elimination for the Extreme Slayers. And honestly, they need to soak up as much as they can because climbing up this mountain is gonna be a task.
Yeah, I don't think any of the teams is going to be able to make it out down here intact. That's for sure. We'll see what happens, though. There's like, what, 4 teams now
crazy.
having to fight their way out here? It's going to be crossfire upon crossfire and Excuse. They're sitting pretty up there because there's 2 teams that Excuse is dealing with on the hill. So in a way, those 2 teams are going to deal with each other. And Excuse can just chill out and look down here for free points, potentially free points, if they could get the shots in.
Nice shots there from Mile Wide. Blue Zone takes down Cloudy, so there goes Butterfly Effect, losing a player just like that. Kubi, though, clutching it up there on the skyline. Goes down the Blue Zone as well and gets thirsted by it. Here comes Frady, trying to make the hold against Ace of Spades. Kiddo, they're just utilizing all their utility trying to take out these 2 players. This is taking way too long.
I mean, they want to look for at least one opening.
Got him!
Yep, there it is.
3v1.
Should be the push.
It
This
needs
is still
happen
a
now.
tough spot to
just
push,
push. Just push. You have no choice. You have no choice. Blue Zone's coming. You have to push. You have to push with the whole squad.
And here comes Kiddo.
Where's
up
the
first.
rest of the team? Oh, there you go. You got
The
him.
trade. Yeah, there's a trade. Yeah, the Blue Zone is coming, but this is a slow side. So they had a couple more seconds than you would think. So they wanted to, maybe get the other nade in so they don't have to slow down for the revive. But they get the revives now, which is good. Kiddo. Oh, never mind. Nope. Play zone?
Yep.
Okay.
They did not have the time.
You're right.
Yep.
You're right. They didn't have the time. A little bit too slow there. Extreme Slayer's still up here with MEZEXIS. 2v1 situation now. Remix.
Remix.
Oh, this is easy.
He's going to wait it out. I think he's going to let Blue Zone get him. Never mind. Inactive. Oh, my gosh. Stellar coming out. Hayuya stuck in the Blue Zone. Inactive getting mowed down by Hayuya. Actually, no. That was actually Stellar from SLR taking that point. So Super Lazy Reflex soaking up some nice points. Meanwhile, the team I picked for the most elimination, the NOMADS, they haven't done nothing. They've just been big chilling. Haven't had to move a muscle. Just securing them placement points.
I don't mind that at all. Out of
take it.
4-1-2. one step at a time, right? You don't need to, all of a sudden be that aggressive team that wins everything and takes a bunch of eliminations. If you have 4 up and you can play to the very, very late game, just chill, wait it out.
Secure the bag. Secure the bag. Meanwhile, SLR, I mean, you can see Stellar just like, I don't know why he's looking up the hill. The rest of his team should be covering that, so he should just be staring in that one spot the whole time. But sometimes you get antsy, Zute. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was talking about how, like, unnecessary movement. You know what I'm saying? And they got him.
Oh, they didn't get... Okay, there we go. Stellar finishes that off. Now, the real fight begins. The 3 teams on top of the hill that have just been chilling out here. I like how mutually everyone on top of the hill is like, hey, if we just chill, everybody in the city is gonna get taken out. So let's just, hold hands here and wait until the last circle. So now it's the final 3. Now they're forced to fight each other. It's a 4v4v3, so things can get very dicey and very tricky, especially with the way the teams are spread out right now.
Who's going to win this match? You're right. It is a very tricky one. Every single team, you can just see almost like in a triangle right here. Except, Excuse is really split up for the most part. Rosh is rocking this off angle with his teammate, but Matt is the other one that's on the complete opposite side of him. So, Excuse having a huge split. And it is a top 3 situation, folks. Who's going to win this game? We have now entered into stage 9. So the circle is going to close into nothing.
All 3 teams will have to move towards the center now. Toes. Gotta watch them toes. And I think the center of the zone? Who's closest to the center of the... I'm not even sure. But plays have to be made. Smoke's coming down. The pressure is on. The teams are moving.
Nice push.
And that's going to be in huge nade range. And it doesn't even matter. One player's down. Rosh is last one up there. Matt doing what he can to just stay alive. And yeah, there comes the nades. SLR looking in a really good spot right now.
It.
There's the finish.
SLR soaking up some nice points. That's 7 in total. The Nomads, full squad, haven't been having to move too much. Oh, actually, they do get a nice elimination there, and I think that's it. So it should be, it is SLR versus 412 to win the last match of the day.
Yeah, Gunpaint got an amazing long-range nade and opened one up onto SLR, allowing 412 to push up here for free, because otherwise they would have been pinned in. Now they get a follow-up. 412, you said they were playing passive, doing nothing. Well, when time comes, when push comes to shove, 412 is going to make it work right now. 4v2 for 412. Should be easy cake. Chicken dinner right here. Unless XTZ can do something. Nope. 2v1 though, Jukes. It could still go the way of SLR. Oh my gosh,
it's 1v1. Free point.
Gun, free point versus Long.
Long. He has the Groza. He's not going to use it though. He's using the M4. He's got the angles. He has the advantage. And he wins it! 412! Throw the match, and it's SLR getting the chicken dinner. Well deserved. Man, did they work for that one. This is an SLR that we haven't seen before, in my opinion. I mean, these guys were pushing, right? They were taking the fight to everybody, and they won the game in style. That's how you do it, folks.
Yeah, SLR coming up huge right there, and man, it got very tricky. But Long, hey,
woo!
He is probably the standout player. He's always taking out Dong from Puppeteers, and now he clutched that one up. And I like how he went for the M4. Honestly, the Groza hip fire is a little bit shaky sometimes, right? He went for the tried and true M4, and it worked out. Long, most damage, most eliminations and highest damage coming up big for SLR. 412 did really well also. They could have won that, but they got that second place at least.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, securing the bag, securing those points when you need them, that's what I'm talking about. Overall, I think we've seen progress. We're seeing progress from a lot of these teams here. We love to see that. That's going to be it for me and Zoo. Let's go ahead and take another highlight so that way our desk can wrap things up.
Just as we were about to celebrate 412 Nomads being able to get that chicken dinner, SLR Long said, hold up a minute. Wait a second. I'm still alive. And he shattered our dreams and hopes because I actually thought 412 Nomads, by the way, before we continue on, a special shout out to Monster Energy, our official energy drink partner. Cam, as we see the match ranking here, tell me how you're feeling because I really thought 412 Nomads was going to be able to close it out right there.
I'm just mad. I can pretend that it's because I'm disappointed in Nomads, letting that one get away from them. I feel that fight started off so clean, but they sort of maybe tried to go a little bit too aggressive. They saw the opportunity, but they tried to rush through the small door all at the same time. That sort of caught them all up. But really, the real reason why I'm mad is because Nomads were the final hurdle, keeping SLR from overtaking Extreme Slayers in eliminations, and now I am dead last in the prediction challenge for this week. And that's a problem, and I don't like that. So that's why I'm upset. But 23 points for Super Lazy Reflex. I'm happy for them. Consciously, I'm happy for them. Subconsciously, I'm in a mood.
I was eating what Sute was cooking. Sute kept saying, it's okay, let 412 Nomads be. They're gonna wait till the end and they're gonna be able to execute it perfectly. I'm like, okay, Sute, okay, I see what you're cooking. And then 412 Nomads started actually doing what Sute was saying, and then it all just fell down. But nonetheless, I mean, by the way, Extreme Slayers, 11 points out of them. This is good. This is a squad that we've been wondering where the heck they have been. Good to see some signs of life out of them, especially with 7 Ilims. And then we're going to keep going down. 412 Nomads, I feel like they are continuing to be that passive team. I feel like they do need to start becoming a little bit more aggressive towards the end of the match, especially if they have those 4 players, because, I mean, it's just too passive for my liking.
Yeah. No, I get it. Like I said, they had a play style that worked very, very well, and it's not working. So, they got to make some adjustments because all other 15 teams are making adjustments on this final week. Going down the list, continuing down, Butterfly Effect continuing to put up the numbers. 7 points. It's not a lot, but they're constantly grabbing all of these points, and when their rivals, K19, are always at least 2 or 3 points behind them, that's a good sign for them overtaking them for 16th place.
It really is, and I mean, the way they have played today, I feel like I'm with what Sute was saying again, they have been the most consistent in one day that I can possibly remember from the previous phases too. So if Butterfly Effect can continue to do that tomorrow, and if K19 doesn't actually end up reacting with even more points and being able to outscore them, I think they're going to be able to pass them. If they haven't already been able to pass them, I'll have to go back and do the math because I can't do it right now in my head. PASSIONFRUIT Esports there being able to finish the day with just 3 points. Canadian Eagles there with just 1 point. And Lotus Esports, I was holding on. Wall Street Bets, I'm looking at you too. I was like, all right, we're being consistent. I was hoping Wall Street Bets will be able to finish up the day strong, but just 1 point. It's okay though. They had a good day, right, Cam?
Yeah. Let's go
focus on the positive
overall when we can, just to see the phase 3 overall when we can, because that's really the only thing that we care about. 23 for SLR, good numbers for them. What was that? 11 for Extreme Slayers, good for them. It was okay for everyone else. It's really what did today change about phase 3's standings. I know NHyper are still going to have the largest lead imaginable, 63-point lead over Nomads. Insane. And we're only 3/5 of the way through this week. It almost feels like if YKG aren't at the top of their game, no one can contest NHyper.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. You know what, 412 Nomads, once I said, I mean, need to see more LMs out of them. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to see that. Wall Street Bets, I mean, 92 points, can't be mad at that. I kind of want to actually go to the second page. Extreme Slayer's kind of saving the day a little bit there with that finish in Miramar, being able to get those points. But I want to see how much YKG jumped up, and they actually jumped up in a big way. They started off the day, I think it was in 20th place. For them to finish off in 9th place, this is also going to be a confidence booster too, after having, 7 days total of just bad games.
Yeah, this is, okay, things are heating up, things are changing. Some teams are starting to cool off, like Canadian Eagles, they've cooled off. BOPE Esports has definitely cooled off. And then the bottom 4, of course, I'm going to see how far below they are behind everyone else. Okay, not that bad for K19, but Puppeteer. Yeah, what happened to Puppeteers? I
don't know, man.
18th is.
I mean, this was a team that did so well in week 1, and ever since then, we just have not seen them. I can't remember at the top of my head where they finished in week 1. Actually, I can't. They finished in 4th place, and after that, we just haven't really seen much of them. But you know what? It's okay. We still have 2 days, right, Puppeteer? With the way that they actually played, first phase and the way that they've been able to at least gather some points, this is a team that's more than likely going to be going to the finals regardless. But this is not the Puppeteers that we want to see. But something I do want to see has to be that MVP. Because usually I would say Kindness, usually I would say GK first. But I'm actually thinking it might be somebody from YKG, maybe Joey.
Might be Joey.
I feel like it has to be Joey. He popped off. He had like 6 Illims in one match too. We saw him being able to get Illims earlier too. Who's the MVP, Alex?
Jat had like 1 or 2 good rounds, but not all 4. So I'm thinking it must got to be. Oh, it's still GK first. What? It's still GK first. Oh, okay. I got to look up to see how close this was.
Please do, because that's a big surprise.
It wasn't even Joey. Actually, 24K is ahead.
How many?
24K is. I think 24K is second. Yeah, and actually, it's very. Oh my God, it's so tight. GK first and 24K. GK first just narrowly ekes it out with like 10 more points of damage. Oh, wow.
That's crazy. 1 more Alien, 10 more points of damage.
Yeah.
But then 24K had 10 more minutes of average survival time. It's okay. You know what? GK first. We get it. You're just showing off here in phase 3 because that's pretty much what you're starting to do in phase 3. Phase 1, Kindness. Phase 2, Kindness. Phase 3, he's like, hey guys, I'm here. I'm showing up too. So let us know in the comments below and let us know on social media. Make sure you use that hashtag PMPLNA on who was your MVP. And before we end it here, Cam, I mean, surprises for me has to be YKG. And in a big way. I'm actually not even a surprise. I'm just happy to see them. They're back, question mark.
Yeah, no, I think YKG are definitely back at this point, but actually the biggest surprise for me is Cloudy by the Butterfly Effect. I'm now looking at the MVP numbers. He is in 3rd for MVP on the day. Not that far. He's ahead of Joey. He's in 3rd. Like, for a team that we sort of just continue to write off because they're never really that big of a threat. Yeah, they're one of the 20th best teams in the region, but within the top 20, not really a big threat. Cloudy specifically showed up and delivered a lot of damage, a lot of elimination. So I'm excited to see if they can continue that momentum going forward because they have a real shot to get into the finals next week.
I'm with you, man. For a team that's been able to finish 14th place, phase 1, 17th place, phase 2.
Yeah.
Phase 3, maybe that's the change for Butterfly nonetheless. Shout out to this man right here. It was an awesome day. I can't wait to see what's going to happen tomorrow, by the way, because after that, we just have 2 days left until we hit finals. Special shout out to Hot Jukes, Sute, and the production. As always, my name is Seven Worlds Gaming alongside Cameron Davis. We'll be back here tomorrow for day number 4 of phase 3, and then it's getting closer there for the top 16. So make sure you guys tune in. See you tomorrow.
HP through the smoke. There's no way he can get this.
He throws the grenade, but it comes in. He does it! He does it!